I can't believe these pharma companies aren't doing this pro bono.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, August 8th, 2020. This is your award-winning Gibbo Nation Media Assassination episode 1267.
This is No Agenda.
Hitting the Great Reset and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we can't find a reset button. I'm looking. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
All right, let's get right to the news at hand. We cannot delay. We just had a special Zephyr report. The economics of the country and the world depend on it. John C. Dvorak, what are you learning?
Well, I saw the Zephyr go by, 8 cars, plus a one of those bonus cars at the end, a rented, very classic old whistle stop.
Ooh.
Kind of a Pullman from the 20s. It had the back, you get on back there and you give the speeches.
Yeah, it's got the flag
like
and you wave.
Roosevelt's old car. It's had a bunch of flags hanging off the back. It was dynamite looking.
All right, so for the squawk box and for the trading floor, the trading desk, everybody, this means economy stable, but we have a surprise on the horizon. Could be related to Roosevelt.
Roosevelt, yeah. I was expecting to see Biden on the back there waving.
Now that would be his jam. He is Mr. Acela. He is Mr. Train. He's Mr. Amtrak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be perfect.
That would be fantastic. But no.
No. Nobody back there.
Wow. A lot of things to discuss. I would like to start just with a couple of different diverse reports we're getting from Melbourne, Australia. Now, Melbourne, I mean, they've
gone nuts down there.
They really have. The police can now enter homes in Melbourne without a warrant to carry out spot checks. And all of this, just so you know, is being blamed on some independent security company. You see, when the lockdown order came, wherever you were, you had to stay in place for 6 weeks at that address, including towers of apartment building towers, hotels, and apparently
6 weeks.
Yes, yes,
they're nuts.
And apparently, with just what I'm reading in Victoria, there was some obviously shady security company was supposed to keep people inside the hotel, and they had 18 cases amongst themselves and spreading it, and I think they were having sex with people, and it's a mess. So that's where the problem comes from. But the responses have been very interesting from our producers' boots on the ground, and very diverse actually, which kind of shows you how differently people can. Let's put it this way: it's not just Trump in the U.S. So our first producer here was mad, just mad that we even dared to play Katie Hopkins. He's horribly mad, and he said, "This is not true what she said. I live in Melbourne. It's not only closed for 7 deaths. Many more than that. Today, currently 7,000 cases from effectively none. I trust our figures." Okay, well, that's mistake number 1, to trust any figures at this point. Lockdown is trying to put the genie back in the bottle. It's all about trying to fix the mess of the hotel quarantine failure. That was the key to the whole success for Australia.
What the media is pushing that narrative
that's
of
the narrative.
Hotel.
That's the narrative.
Security failure.
Yeah. Australia asked returning travelers who were the sole source of infections to self-isolate. That proved quickly not to work. So then they forced all returning travelers into 2-week mandatory hotel quarantine. 2 week at the government's expense.
That's 2 weeks.
That was just for the hotel. That's before this big lockdown, I guess. That's where it went wrong. So they had people coming back into the country. They were supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks, and then this security company, they hired Uber drivers.
Well, let's go back to the death toll. You said there were 7, and he said you're a liar.
Yes.
What is the number?
He doesn't have a number for me. He says many more than that.
How can you be a liar if he hasn't got a better number?
I don't trust any numbers from anywhere at this point. But here's the story that I guess is being blamed on this. The security company hired Uber drivers to be security guards. And the virus got out. Okay, I'm sure. Then we have a note from, who is this? Max, the Talking Bunyip. A little more context for Melbourne after listening to the show. Opening of 1266. A month ago, Australia had, like many others, was beginning to return to some form of normality as daily cases in all states were either in single numbers non-existent. Then suddenly, Melbourne cases began to rise. Again, it's the cases story. So none of our producers have given me any feedback on increase in testing or anything like that. But after the 2-week lockdown, that was the original Be Quiet Slave, face masks and coverings were made mandatory outside of the homes. The next week, the numbers stabilized around 600 to 700 a day. These are just cases. The Premier of Victoria, Dan Andrews, justified the actions on the basis that under Stage 3, it would have taken all year to return to acceptable number of daily cases. They're even more clueless than we are here. They're still trying to figure out what cases are and what it means.
Well,
I have one more.
Yeah, we got a nasty note from somebody, one of our another producer. It's a night, so you have to take him seriously.
Yeah, of course.
And he goes on and on about somebody in his family died, and we're just assholes for suggesting nobody's ever died, and everything is a conspiracy.
It's actually it's always someone's friend's parents. You know what I mean? Someone always knows someone who, of course you do. It's horrible. People are dying.
During the seasonal flu, I had Jerry Pornell and one guy that used to work with, and another one just 3 years ago during that really bad flu season. That wasn't even H1N1. It was just a bad flu season. That's the one Mimi got, and barely made it through. No, this happens.
The only mistake we made is when your friends died, including John Perry Barlow, of the flu, and then subsequently, I guess, pneumonia. We should have mocked the flu on the show. Then people would have understood. We didn't even discuss it at all, probably.
No.
But yeah, a lot of people die every year from a lot of things. If you just highlight that the whole time, then it's going to look...
You harp on it.
Yeah. And for sure, there's people dying that you didn't know were going to die. And there's always someone connected to somebody. But, okay, we're insensitive bastards.
Now, there's another thing that we brought up early, and we forgot to bring it up again. You look at the Johns Hopkins site, and there's a 12 million infected, or there's some ridiculous number. Are they people still roaming around infected? They were infected in April.
Yeah.
Do they ever get taken off this list, or are you permanently infected?
That's a very good point. That is a good point.
There's never any indication of how many people have been infected and cured, and now are
you're right.
Their merry way.
It's not a rolling average of number of people infected. It's new cases, and then they just do a cumulative number.
Yeah,
that is so true.
Bigger and bigger. Golly, it gets bigger. That's interesting.
You're so right.
It always gets bigger if you don't take them off the list.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, Australia should call for that.
By the way, that's another. People. The people that are irked at us. This is just another one of many indicators that there's a scam, not a conspiracy. There's a scam going on.
Yeah.
And when you see billions of dollars just being funneled into these pharma companies, here's a couple billion, make a bunch of vaccine that doesn't work.
I was talking to one of the millennials last night, and she said, I can't believe, she said, that the vaccine companies are not doing this pro bono. I said, is it starting to dawn on you? It's actually prepaid. We paid them up front to do all this. I hate capitalism. Well,
that's where it always ends up. That's not capitalism.
Corruption is corruption. I just thought it was interesting.
I hate capitalism.
Yeah, well, it's the messages are confusing, and the kids are disillusioned, and the only thing to do is go out and throw stuff.
By the way, I do like that idea of just using that I can't believe these pharma companies aren't doing this pro bono. Are they members of the world community or not?
Oh, well, in fact, they are. Just not the one you're hoping it is. And then after the show, a couple of things happened on Thursday, which we'll get to the TikTok thing later. The executive order came out, 45 days. Either you sell off the U.S. piece to a U.S. company and 30% goes to the Treasury, or you're out. And this is, again, based on that DACA decision when the president was all jitty about the way the Supreme Court interpreted the executive order power, or the power of the executive of the president. Friday, he threatened again at his golf club, and then Saturday he made good on it and signed 3 executive orders. And I think this is exactly what we saw happening: is let them argue, put some bull crap up that apparently looks like Trump really wants it, like the FBI building, which was immediately, yeah, he wants that FBI building. He doesn't want a hotel there to compete with his Trump hotel, so let's fuck him on that. And so he let him play along with that, and obviously the final sticking point is $1 trillion to bail out states, and that by the Democrats is being turned into he doesn't want to help the frontline workers, the doctors and the nurses. Now there's a whole different category for that, but he came out with 4 executive orders. And I think the strategy worked perfectly. Make it look like, or just keep yelling that the Democrats don't want to come to the table. Excite the base by saying we're not going to give $1 trillion to Democrat states and cities. Then throw out the executive orders and say, what? You want to sue me over this? You want to delay this even longer, even though I'm the hero and I am in the middle here between the evil Republicans and the even more evil Democrats? I'm saving the day? Is that what you want to do, Nancy? And I think that the mainstream media aligned with the Democrats are in irons. They're in shock. They don't know which way to go. And I thought the Today Show, they did kind of a summary, which I couldn't help but think this is really making Trump look incredibly good in hostile territory.
Going it alone.
I'm taking executive action. We've had it.
At his private club, the president brought out the pens, signing a series of actions that bypass Congress after 2 weeks of talks for COVID relief failed.
Democrats are actively blocking the things that we want, and what we want is good for people.
He called for a new round of enhanced unemployment at a lower figure than the benefits that expired.
Why did you decide on $400 when previously families were receiving $600?
Yeah.
That will be a hardship for many. What do you say to them?
Well, no, it's not a hardship. This is the money that they need. This is the money they want, and this gives them a great incentive to go back to work.
Another big change, a payroll tax holiday for workers earning less than $100,000, a move many Democrats and Republicans had opposed.
This will mean bigger paychecks for working families.
The president also provided some eviction protections and deferred student loans. But sidestepping lawmakers could lead to legal challenges over the separation of powers, since only Congress has the constitutional authority to control taxes and spending.
Maybe they'll bring legal actions, maybe they won't, but they won't win.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Democratic leader Chuck Schumer criticized the president for choosing to stay on his luxury golf course to announce unworkable, weak, and narrow policy announcements.
So I was monitoring as much of the Trump opposition as possible just to see how they were going to respond to it. And they're definitely catching on to the, can't even do it. Is it legal? But when it comes to, and therefore, the executive order to cut payroll tax until the end of the year, continue unemployment insurance at $400 until the end of the year, with $100 of that $400 coming from money that they are giving to the states, that the states can choose to add to that or not.
Yeah.
And well, you know, when you extend UI, unemployment insurance, you're only one letter away from UBI. This is getting very close to universal basic income for a large segment.
I think there's some experimentation going on. I have a clip. Play my clip of the executive order for money.
Okay.
Trump.
Yeah. Hold on. Trump. Yeah, got it. Hey, play.
President Trump took matters into his own hands today, issuing executive orders. Late this afternoon at his golf resort in New Jersey, the president announced that payroll taxes and student loans would be deferred through the end of the year, an eviction moratorium would be extended, and he would divert unspent money from an earlier relief bill and from FEMA to extend federal unemployment insurance payments.
It's $400 per week. And we're doing that without the Democrats. We should have been able to do it very easily with them, but they want all of these additional things that have nothing to do with helping people.
States will have to contribute 25% of the cost, and the extension will be voluntary for those states. Enhanced federal unemployment benefits expired a week ago. The $600 payments have been a major point of contention between the White House and Democratic leaders working on a deal. Mr. Trump defended providing unemployed people less money than they were receiving in the previous relief legislation.
And this gives them a great incentive to go back to work. So this was much more than was originally agreed. To 600 was a number that was there, and as you know, there was difficulty with the 600 number because it really was a disincentive.
The money has not been a disincentive, according to findings by both economists at Yale as well as the Chicago Federal Reserve Board.
Yeah.
A couple of things I want to mention that you touched on. First of all, yes, Congress is supposed to be in control of the taxing and the money and the dispensation, but the word diverting was the key here.
Yes, of course.
Trump isn't really.
He's not creating new money. It's already there.
No, and the federal tax that you take out of your employment.
Yes, the payroll tax.
Payroll tax is not changing anything really. You still have to pay tax.
Yeah, just not the payroll
when you file
tax.
your income tax.
Yeah, just not the payroll tax.
Now, the thing that's left out of all these reports, and I couldn't find the exact wording for it, but none of the reporters even cared to look, is what was this stuff that the Democrats kept wanting to add in? They say, oh, well, the Democrats don't want to do it because they want to add all this left-wing crap in there.
I think, well, if you looked at the HEROES Act, which I did, which was passed, I don't know, it's 3 months ago now, it's huge. It's all the Green New Deal stuff. It's the UN agenda. It's Agenda 2030, all the stuff that's in there. But the main crux was the $1 trillion for states, which is just not necessary. Not that much damage was caused.
I found a Pelosi wish list that they keep putting into their different bills. They tried pushing this stuff through, and I just thought it'd be interesting to read the list.
Sure.
This is what they're publication of corporate pay statistics by race and race statistics for all corporate boards.
Well, I can't. What's wrong with that? We could have that by law.
Required early voting and required same-day voter registration.
Huh.
Provisions on official time for union collective bargaining.
Hey, by the way, that's an interesting point. Same-day voter registration. What process needs to take place that is so complicated you have to register months in advance?
Maybe checking your driver's license or making sure you actually live in that area. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I mean, when they sign a petition, they supposedly go over all the names to make sure they're real people.
Yeah. Well, I'm all for the same day. It's like, oh, I forgot, but I want to vote. We should have some form. Get a driver's license should be enough.
Well, they're giving driver's licenses away. They've found a cache of them with fake ones that they're distributing through different parts of the country.
Oh, nice.
Sure, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Provisions on official time for union collective bargaining. I don't know what that. This got nothing to do with anything. Full offset of airline emissions by 2025. Publication and reporting of greenhouse gas statistics for individual flights. Retirement plans for community newspaper employees.
Wow. Get the press on your side.
Off the wall.
That's good.
Federal $15 minimum wage. Permanent, this was, I think, done.
Yeah.
Permanent paid leave. Study on climate change mitigation efforts.
This. I told you, this is UN Agenda 2030 stuff. This is the Build Back Better agenda.
Yeah, Build Back Better.
Although Pelosi was actually very happy with the unemployment insurance extension and with the payroll tax cut. Listen to this.
On the payroll tax cut, this is necessary because our economy and our people need this boost. For individual families, 160 million American families, this will be a boost. From a macroeconomic standpoint, the demand that is injected into the economy when people spend this money will be a job creator. And again, a temporary measure to help give us a boost. The same as the unemployment insurance extension. The economists tell us that that's an immediate jump start to the economy because of the macroeconomic of people getting money, spending it immediately, injecting demand, creating jobs.
I think that was really nice that she spoke. Oh, I'm sorry. That was from 2012. Oh, yeah.
When Obama was in office.
Obama
that's a different situation.
It's the same, though. It's the same crap. And guess who was against it then? The Republicans. So please, people, please get a grip on all this stuff. Worst thing ever. It's going to... No, just like mail-in voting, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was all against it in Florida when it was the Republicans that had the upper hand. It's so cringy. Just cringy what they all do.
Since you brought these issues, this Trump presser at his golf club, I have two clips. One of them is the more interesting of the two. But I do want to play this, the Friday on relief and Pelosi, this 54-second clip.
My administration continues to work in good faith to reach an agreement with Democrats in Congress that will extend unemployment benefits, provide protections against evictions. A terrible thing happens with evictions. Not fair. It wasn't their fault that we were infected with this disease from China. And get relief to American families. Yet tragically, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer continue to insist on radical left-wing policies that have nothing to do with the China virus, nothing to do with it at all. So you have a virus that comes in, and you have people in Congress that don't want to help our people. If Democrats continue to hold this critical relief hostage, I will act under my authority as president to get Americans the relief they need.
Right.
He's been harping. He's really changed his tune about the virus. It's now the China virus or the virus from China.
I'm pissed off. I didn't clip it, but during that, I think when he read the executive order, he said the corona... Call it whatever you want, China virus. He misspoke, and Corona came out, much to his horror.
Yeah.
So he quickly switched.
He's good at message. I mean, he's got his target, and he's going to keep hounding it. Now, there was one thing from that press conference I want to play. Mm-hmm. This is the TVA part. This is news. This is major headline. Well, not headline, but at least front page news.
Well, we've talked about this particular situation several months ago. He was complaining about it.
Yes, and they've taken action. And he talks about it at the press conference. And instead of, you'd think some outlet would pick it up. I didn't hear it anywhere. It wasn't on Democracy Now! She was too busy with Mary Trump making stuff up on the spot.
Yeah.
And
really, Mary Trump is still on television. She still shows up.
She took the whole show on Friday.
Okay.
Well, not before I play this. Then I want you to play the teaser. Amy's teaser. Amy teaser. This is 26 seconds. This is the way Democracy Now! Began.
Today, we spend the hour with the author of a book President Trump doesn't want you to read. It's called Too Much and Never Enough: How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man. It's written by Trump's niece, Mary Trump, a clinical psychologist. She describes Donald Trump as a sociopath who grew up in a dysfunctional family that fostered his greed and cruelty, which he is now inflicting on the world.
Is this background music new for them? That's so funky.
They always had that stupid background music during the tease.
Yeah, everybody had boom.
It's only during the tease.
Yeah.
Okay, so this clip, which is I'm watching this press conference, and there's this clip, and I'm thinking, and then I just start looking around. It's as if, and you're right, we did discuss part of this. It's as if it was just like, this is like real news.
It didn't happen. No, it didn't happen. Whatever he said, it didn't take place.
That's what you'd think.
Yeah.
Let's play this.
As you know, earlier this week, I met with American workers at the Tennessee Valley Authority who have been laid off by the leadership at the Tennessee Valley Authority. As you know, this is a form of utility. It's been around for a long time, since FDR. And the head person, not controlled by government, but it's sort of semi-public in a sense, gets paid the highest salary in the world of government. He gets $8 million a year. That's not a bad amount of money. It's $8 million a year. And we are not accepting that, even though we're not the ones that appoint him or her, but in this case him. We're not accepting somebody getting paid $8 million a year. This has been going on for many years. And we will do something about that, and we're already in negotiations right now, including possible termination. They and hundreds of their fellow American tech workers, the workers at the TVA, were being terminated from their positions on top of all of this and on top of the $8 million salary and a chief of staff who makes much more than $1 million a year. But on top of all that, they were being terminated from their positions, these incredible people, in order to train the lower-cost foreign workers imported to replace them. How's that for a law? And this was set up originally to create jobs and economic development. And now they're getting fired, and they're supposed to train people for a much lower, who get a much lower salary. It's crazy. This was a grave injustice. I fired the chairman of the board in response. On Friday, I fired the chairman of the board, along with one other board member. That's the one thing we have. We have the right to fire board members. And I made it clear that if they did not swiftly reverse course, I would continue with these firings of the board members. And we just were informed that they have agreed to change course totally. And today I'm proud to announce that a major victory for the workers of Tennessee and Kentucky and other areas that are covered, great states, that the leadership of the TVA has canceled all of the layoffs and given hundreds of American workers their jobs back.
Oh, I love how he's just taking them out. I took 2 out. There's 3 more to go. Could take them out.
None of this is covered, and because it just might make him look good.
We should just explain the Tennessee Valley Authority briefly.
Well, before we do that, I do want to mention something. I was stunned when he said that they were firing guys to have them train their replacements.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that all ended in the late 90s.
No, that was when Trump came in. That was one of the first things he did at remember the air conditioning plant? We had story after story of people who were saying, what's with the C? The
Carrier. Yeah,
Carrier. Like, oh, they made us train our replacements here, and all the rest went to Mexico. No, this is nuts. This is happening in high tech too.
But that's where that's the place where I knew the most about it was in high tech.
Right.
That's what the Indian H-1B workers, they'd come in and then you get some guy that's paid, I don't know, $110,000 a year, and you replace him with a guy paying $60,000 a year. Yeah. And it seems like a good idea if you can get away with it, and they force the guy to train the new guy.
That's the cruel part. That's so cruel. Yeah. So, yeah, this is a weird organization, though. It was part of the fixing everything after the Great Depression. And
it was one of the 3-letter word operations set up by Roosevelt.
Yeah. And so can't we just get rid of all that, or is it...
No, it's actually a power company. It's a major power company.
I know, but can't we just force them to sell it to a new entity?
Well, then the guy would get the $8 million for sure.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't so... The $8 million is like, whatever. You know.
Well, for a public utility...
No, it's crazy.
It's quasi.
It's crazy.
Yeah, for a guy who works for the government making $8 million, and his chief of staff, you're giving him $1 million. But the thing is, government workers have been making more money than the private sector for some years now.
By quite a bit.
And that never used to be the case. The government work was something you'd fall back on. It wasn't something you'd make a career out of.
It's a good career move these days. Come on, get in, stay forever.
Yeah.
So thank you. That is something you probably won't hear much about on the M5M. What you will see is this.
Americans this week, and just in this room, you have dozens of people who are not following the guidelines in New Jersey, which say you should not have...
No, they don't have to. This is a political activity.
This is about them not wearing masks inside or not enough.
You're wrong on that because it's a political activity. They have exceptions, political activity, and it's also a peaceful protest. So when you have, and as you know, they asked if they could be, a number of, and to me they look like they pretty much all have masks on, but you have an exclusion in the law. It says peaceful protest or political activity, right? In fact, specifically, it says exactly political activity or peaceful protest. And you could call it political activity, but I'd call it peaceful protest because they heard you were coming up and they know the news is fake. They understand it better than anybody.
Yeah, that's what gets all the play. Nobody talks about the TVA.
Exactly.
They just talk about the cartoon, the carnival.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's about them.
Well, yes. In fact, it's almost as bad as. Oh my God, this was really sick. Since it is still kind of COVID related, it's about Fauci and Allison Cameron Allison from CNN. I think she's the one that asked Fauci if he would want Brad Pitt to play him on Saturday Night Live, and of course that happened, and so I guess she's all jacked and jitty and jizzing all over Fauci as he's on CNN. Listen to this.
Dr. Fauci, great to see you again. Allison here.
Allison.
Hi.
Hi. Did you hear that? Hi. Oh, hi. I'm a journalist. Hi.
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 I have been listening with rapt attention, but I feel like John didn't get to the really burning question.
What could the burning question be? I mean, the man's not busy.
America has for you, and that is, did you hear that Brad was nominated for an Emmy for playing you?
Oh, no!
Yes, I did. What a surreal world we're living in, Allison. I mean, I hope he wins. He's a great actor. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors, so I really do hope he wins.
Have you spoken to him since he played you?
I have not. I would love to meet him because I've been such a great admirer of him and his talent, but I have not spoken to him.
I feel like we can make that happen, Dr. Fauci.
Because she's the dream maker, Allison is. She makes things happen.
I feel like you and I have the power to have you meet Brad, because I sort of feel like anything you and I suggest, he does.
How sad is this?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, he's appropriately embarrassed, is trying to get out of it.
Thanks, Allison.
I'm not done with you, Dr. Fauci. Would you like to go up on stage when he wins? Would you like to be there to help accept the Emmy Award?
What is this interview?
I know. But listen to Fauci's even annoyed by it. Listen to this.
There to help accept the Emmy Award.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Allison, the only reason I have hesitancy about that is that we're in the middle of an outbreak.
Bring it back, Fauci.
And I think that if that association with kind of show business thing might be misinterpreted, that I'm not serious about what I'm doing. So I'd rather focus on my job and really wish him well that he wins.
I was afraid there was going to be a point that I pushed you too far. And
doesn't stop.
We have just gotten up to that point. But we really appreciate how playful you have been on the lighter note with all of that. And it was just great. I mean, it was just a great moment to watch.
It's a fabulous moment.
Brad Pitt is a fan of yours and all of your information as well.
He's a fan of all your information.
Jeez, lady, towel off.
Almost as good as this exchange between Judy Woodruff and Nancy Pelosi. This was Friday, just before the president did his first threatening announcement, including the TVA announcement, actually. And and Judy boils it all down from PBS NewsHour. She boils it all down to, well, the Republicans don't want $1 trillion for states. And here's what happened.
The other point Republicans are making is they are now showing flexibility in money for state and local governments. This is, again, a difference. Democrats want more money. Republicans want a lot less. They are saying they're willing to show flexibility. And they're also saying a lot of the money that was passed in the spring, Madam Speaker, has not even been spent yet.
Well, so if you want to be an advocate for them, Judy, if you want to be an advocate for them, let's know what the facts are.
I'm playing devil's advocate here to ask you for your position.
That's what an accusation towards Judy for Pelosi to say, if you want to, what did she say? If you want to, did she say
you want to be an advocate
for them? That's, I mean, this is a journalist.
She should have pushed back a little
harder.
Yeah.
I have great respect for you. I have great respect for you.
But she should have, I'm not here to be insulted kind of thing, but she couldn't probably pull that off. I mean, if you remember, she's the one who got pushed around by Al Gore on that one clip.
Yeah, Judy is
there is no other side to the argument.
Judy is surprisingly lightweight when it comes to confrontation. I'd expect her to be a lot better.
Well, she's probably 90. I don't know how old she is.
Oh, I'm not that old.
She's she's no spring chicken.
So the next phase of this in the globalist Build Back Better Biden New World Order group comes to us as brought to my attention, because I have been paying attention to their website. Remember the World Economic Forum? They had this whole, we read it on the air, I think, about the Great Reset and what's coming and what they're going to do. And this is a great opportunity. Do you recall that? Just reading from their website at the time.
This has been tossed around a bit.
So on noagendasocial.com, Professor Wurr and Lady J, they found a Zoom video, basically a Zoom call for reptiles. And it is the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset presentation, where they are going to tell us what is coming next as it relates to the coronavirus. They use a number of words, but of course the crisis would be the one. And I have a couple clips from it, and I think it's good to listen because this is pretty much, I think, what Joe Biden is going for. But in general, this is where most leaders of the world will start pushing this crisis towards. And we start with Adrian Monk. He'll give us a little intro to the Zoom call and tell us what we can expect.
Hello from the World Economic Forum in Geneva. My name is Adrian Monk, and I'll be moderating today's session. Welcome to this virtual meeting, which has brought together leaders and stakeholders from across the global community for our COVID action platform. Today, this meeting serves as a launch pad for the next chapter, the Great Reset. We have contributions from His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, from UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, from IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva, and from many more in the next hour and a quarter. But to get us underway, let's hear from the forum's executive chairman and founder, Professor Klaus Schwab.
So Klaus, and if you're not familiar with Klaus, you got to look up Klaus Schwab. He can't help it, but with the bald head, I mean, he just looks like an evil guy, like Dr. Evil. But they've shot him with this blue backdrop. He's on a platform in a chair, and they shoot it from underneath. So all he's missing is a white pussycat. And he has the most grotesque, he is like Dr. Evil. And of course, the accent didn't help.
Thank you, Adrian. It is obvious that we are in the midst of the most severe crisis the world has experienced.
Hold on a second.
I knew you'd like it.
First of all, is this whole thing not a scam? Is this really a true meeting? I mean, Adrian Monk starts it off because Adrian Monk, of course, is the character in the TV show Monk, who is some sort of a
that's the guy's name.
Obsessive, I realize
I don't know anything
obsessive compulsive character.
Uh-huh.
And then they got this Dr. Evil guy shot like Dr. Evil from below.
It's Klaus Schwab. It's the guy from the World Economic Forum.
And we're
Davos.
sure that these are the real. They're not doubles. Isn't that the whole thing? It's not a scam.
No, I appreciate you asking that. Now, this is. I can verify it comes from their website. The World Economic Forum is the Davos crowd. Klaus Schwab, it's his party.
Completely out of control.
Oh, you're just starting to hear the beginning.
They need an art director.
Crisis the world has experienced since World War II. 75 years ago, countries and people came together to shape the post-war global order.
Oh, global order!
Decades of peace, increased global cooperation and prosperity to hundreds of millions of people around the world.
It was good what we did then, yeah?
The COVID-19 crisis.
The COVID... This guy just asked...
Sounds like a clip from Hogan's Heroes.
Hogan! The COVID-19 crisis. It is the guy... You got to look it up. You got to see a picture of this guy on his pedestal.
To hundreds of millions of people around the world.
Okay.
The COVID-19 crisis has shown us that our old systems are not fit anymore for the 21st century.
Okay.
It has laid bare the fundamental lack of social cohesion, fairness, inclusion, and equality.
Yeah, are you catching on? It sounds like we need some equality, fairness.
Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight the virus, but to shape the system.
Shape the system.
For the need for the post-corona era. We have a choice. To remain passive, which would lead to the amplification of many of the trends we see today.
Such as?
Polarization, nationalism, racism.
Oh, I see. So all of that is only enhanced by the coronavirus, the COVID-19 crisis.
And ultimately increase social unrest and conflicts.
Oh.
But we have another choice. We can build a new social contract. Particularly integrating the next generation. We can change our behavior to be in harmony with nature again. And we can make sure that the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution are best utilized to provide us with better lives.
Okay.
In short, we need a great reset.
A great reset is what we need.
We have to mobilize all constituents of our global society to work together. We must not miss this unique window of opportunity.
You get that? We must not miss this unique window of global opportunity. So let's go to the Secretary General of the United Nations. This is another one of our favorites. This is Antonio Guterres.
He's at the meeting?
Well, they're all on the Zoom.
So he's at the same Zoom meeting.
Well, he's in the meeting, yes. This is all one, and Charles, everyone, this is one big Zoom meeting. It's really interesting to watch. And here is his pitch.
I send you my warmest greetings and best wishes on the launch of the Great Reset. The COVID-19 pandemic is causing enormous human suffering and economic hardship. A microscopic virus has closed down entire countries and economies. In doing so, it has exposed the fragility that characterizes much of our world. But this fragility is not confined to health systems.
Interesting that the word fragility is used. Since we just happen to have the white fragility book and everything, it's interesting that that's being applied to our systems in this case.
Runaway climate change, unsustainable levels of inequality.
I'm sorry, word climate change.
Wait, did he say runaway climate change?
Let's listen again.
The microscopic virus has closed down entire countries and economies. In doing so, it has exposed the fragility that characterizes much of our world. But this fragility is not confined to health systems. Runaway climate change, unsustainable levels of...
I think he did say runaway climate change.
Yeah, I knew it was climate change, but I didn't know it was runaway climate change. That's new.
Let's see.
But this fragility is not confined to health systems. Runaway climate change, unsustainable levels of inequality, and the lawlessness of cyberspace.
The lawlessness of... John, that's us! Yeah! We're lawless in cyberspace!
Are all warning signs that we must heed. The Great Reset is a welcome recognition that this human tragedy must be a wake-up call. As you rightly say,
oh my
it is
God.
Oh, no, it gets better. It gets better.
Imperative.
How can it get better? You mean, by that, do you mean it gets worse?
Yes, it's better for the entertainment value on the show, is what I mean.
Oh, yeah, well, it's already gotten there.
As you rightly say, it is imperative that we reimagine, rebuild, redesign, reinvigorate, and rebalance our world.
Rebalance the world. So maybe it is flat.
The scale of the pandemic and its social and economic impact demands strong unity and solidarity, particularly towards developing countries. Specific measures must be targeted at those most affected: women, older people, youth, low-wage workers, the informal sector, and people caught up in humanitarian crises. Rebalancing investment, harnessing science and technology, and advancing the transition to net zero emissions, all elements of the Great Reset, are fundamental to building the future we need.
Mm-hmm.
We have already called for an economic stimulus package equivalent to a double-digit percentage.
That this part I didn't understand. So the UN is, when they say we've already called for an economic stimulus package in double-digit percentage, what does that mean? That everybody that all countries are supposed to do that? Or does that mean the bankers print up some money?
No.
Okay.
They want the United States to give them more money.
Ah, that's what it is. I figured that.
It's the Great Gouge.
The Great Reset preceded
by... The Great
by...
Reset, the Great Gouge.
The Great Gouge. All right.
All elements of the Great Reset are fundamental to building the future we need. We have already called for an economic stimulus package equivalent to a double-digit percentage, more than 10% of the global economy.
Wow.
Last week, the United Nations together...
We need 10% of the global economy, America. Give it to us.
10% of the global economy. Last week, the United Nations, together with the governments of Jamaica and Canada, convened the largest gathering of world leaders since the start of the pandemic to lay solid foundations for a sustainable recovery based on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
There it is.
And the Paris Agreement.
So he's all over the 20.
Well, I want to stop for a second because we get some criticism, but you hear it all the time. Oh, people, they're always bringing that up. As if they're not actually throwing it in our faces.
You mean like the New World Order and the elites and the money people and the United Nations and all this kumbaya globalism? Yeah, this is it.
And they throw it in. They always bring this 2030 up. We bring, and they say, well, all the right wingers are always referring to it as though it's something real. Well, because it is real. The guy just said it right there. They want to take 10% of the global economy, do with it what they want.
For equality.
For some sort of equality they're not going to achieve. And then and try to gouge us for the
majority of it.
Yes, the majority of it. After all, we can throw trillions away.
Well, it gets better.
This is disgusting listening to these people. You've made me sick.
Okay, well, grab your barf bag. Here's Prince Charles.
These are unprecedented times.
If you've seen these interviews with this poor bastard, this guy is so out of touch with reality. He roams around the grounds talking about flowers and planting and gardening. Yes. The guy is a borderline moron.
Well, he's very distinguished, and has a lot of important things to say about everything.
These are unprecedented times. Every person on the planet has been impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. Our world came to a standstill, and it became clear that we did not have the answer or the mechanisms to address such an unprecedented global threat. The threats posed by this dreadful pandemic came upon us suddenly with very little warning.
Be quiet. He's talking about this dreadful pandemic, and you're doing nothing but you're just mumbling through it.
The threat of climate change has been...
Oh, my. He's going... Within 10 seconds, he's going straight to climate change.
Pandemic came upon us suddenly with very little warning. The threat of climate change has been more gradual, but its devastating reality for many people and their livelihoods around the world, and its ever greater potential to disrupt, surpasses even that of COVID-19.
So let this be a lesson to you.
This crisis has shown the importance of investing in science, technology innovation. We are on the verge of catalytic breakthroughs that will alter our view of what is possible and profitable within the framework of a sustainable future. It is time, therefore, to align sustainable solutions with funding in a way that can transform the market.
Here we go.
This would be the most dramatic act of responsible leadership ever seen by the global private sector, and would at once provide a catalytic incentive for the public sector to follow.
Does this remind you at all about some of those Democrat points that were in the HEROES Act that is now being argued over?
Thing.
It's exactly the same thing.
The Democrats are all in on this. Let's destroy the whole system so we can be better off.
We continue with His Royal Highness.
We have a golden opportunity to seize something good from this crisis. Its unprecedented shockwaves may well make people more receptive to big visions of change. Global crises like pandemics and climate change know no borders and highlight just how interdependent we are as one people sharing one planet.
Oh, that's interesting. This shocks people. This is a shock to people. So they're to shock them awake. They're going to want to shock them into climate change.
We need only look to the United Nations Secretary General, to the IMF, the EU, the Petersburg Climate Dialogue, the Canadian government, the COP26 Universities Network, and business leaders around the world to see this. And as we move from rescue to recovery, therefore we have a unique but rapidly shrinking window of opportunity to learn lessons and reset ourselves on a more sustainable path. It is an opportunity we have never had before and may never have again. So we must use all the levers we have at our disposal, knowing that each and every one of us has a vital role to play. So I can only encourage us all to think big and act now.
Think big. So there's a whole bunch of
phrase. Think big, act now. What?
The lady from the IMF came by. She talked, and it went back and forth. There's only one last clip I have, and I thought.
Luckily, I want to say, luckily for all of us listening and everybody out there, this is a group of the biggest blowhards that probably can't accomplish anything. So,
right. But they certainly have influence. I'm looking at the European Union. The European Union's all in on this. They're passing laws left and right to support this entire idea. And the Great Reset, you watch this term start floating around. This is a great reset. Yes. So one guy that was, to me, very out of character, but clearly a partner in the Great Reset team was a representative from MasterCard. I thought that was interesting, so I clipped him.
The person I'm going to turn to first, Ajay Banga of MasterCard, Chief Executive Officer of MasterCard. Ajay, what do we need to see from a business perspective to address this pressing social and economic need for change that this pandemic has really laid bare?
Is this the kind of guy who's supposed to answer this type of question? I guess.
I would think he'd be more interested in EBITDA returns and some other tax aspects, profit loss.
He's got a couple things in here. MasterCard is doing more than just managing your credit card.
I've been saying for a while that the world's problems fit on three sides of a triangle.
Whoa!
No,
what is this, a Silicon Valley like expression?
It sounds like it is. I've never heard it, but it probably is.
The problems fit on three sides of the triangle.
That's the prism you should look through. We just talked about them. It's one versus many.
Oh, it's one of these Indian guys.
Yes.
Nature, and the unfortunate foundation is long-term versus short-term. As a company, we made a commitment, Adrian, some years ago to go after 500 million people to be brought in for financial inclusion by 2020. We did that, and now we've upped it to 1 billion and added that we will bring in 50 million micro SMEs and 25 million women entrepreneurs, all part of that.
Talking about market share.
Oh, yeah.
This is many side of the triangle. We tried to use our presence with consumers to say, what is it consumers understand? They don't understand carbon credits, but they understand the planting of trees. Why am I saying all this? In the process of doing all this, we've come to two lessons, and that's the answer to your question. There is not enough money in government or philanthropy to make it possible to deal with the three sides of this triangle. You need private sector capital, private sector ingenuity, private sector technology, and private sector capabilities to come to the party. We have to make it part of our business model, which were those two examples I gave you of inclusion and climate. You need enormous trust between the private sector and the public sector.
Stop for a second. Some of these Indian guys, I mean, the whole country is kind of very adept at talking like this and sounding like they're saying something
when they're really not. When they're really
saying
not.
Absolutely nothing. He's going on and saying and it's just like he's getting out of this like smelling like a rose because he sounds like he said something. But this is just the guru style bull crap.
Yes,
that a lot of Indians can do very well.
Oh, Malik.
Well, Ohm's not at this level. This guy's he's at the
top of his game.
He really is good.
He's the top of it. I think many of our producers will be listening, going, "Yep, I know that kind of guy."
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If you're thinking that, you're racist.
Those two examples I gave you of inclusion and climate. You need enormous trust between the private sector and the public sector for this to actually work.
Ugh.
That trust is hard to come by.
Stand by, because I'm going to tell you what the trust is all about.
What I have seen during the course of the pandemic is some light at the end of the tunnel on the trust. The private sector and governments are working, and the NGO sector are working really well together. Whether it's the therapeutic accelerator we launched with Gates and the Wellcome Trust, or the work I see on SMEs around the world.
So, wait a minute. The therapeutic accelerator we launched with Gates.
What the hell is that?
Well, an accelerator is, the way I understand it in this context, is it's like an incubator for technology, for biotech firms.
An incubator accelerator.
Yeah, so you get the accelerator, and then everyone cashes in on it. Gates, MasterCard, it's groovy.
And the NGO sector.
Scam is what you're saying.
Oh, wait for it.
Are working really well together. Whether it's the therapeutic accelerator we launched with Gates and the Wellcome Trust, or the work I see on SMEs around the world, or benefit distribution and the use of data and analytics for purposes of directing activity.
Okay. Listen to what he says here, because now he's slipping up.
But wait, did he say the Wellcome Trust, another one of these operations? The Wellcome Trust, I think, is bigger than the Gates Foundation.
I don't know. I think he said, I'm not sure if it's the Wellcome Trust. He's talking about trust, and I think
No. You go back where he says the therapeutic accelerator launched by Gates and the Wellcome Trust.
Listen.
I have seen during the course of the pandemic is some light at the end of the tunnel on the trust. The private sector and governments are working, and enormous trust between the private sector and the public sector for this to actually work. That trust is hard to come by. What I have seen during the course of the pandemic is some light at the end of the tunnel on the trust. The private sector and governments are working, and the NGO sector are working really well together. Whether it's the therapeutic accelerator we launched with Gates and the Wellcome Trust, or the work I see on SMEs around the world, or benefit distribution and the use of data and analytics for purposes of directing activity.
Using user data for purposes of directing activity. I think we understand what that means. Tracking your behavior.
Mention Google, for God's sake.
Tracking your behavior and then nudging you in the direction they want you to go with messaging. Right?
Or when you do a search, you get the search they want you to see.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I think this issue of bringing the private sector to the party and bringing it in a way that the trust between the private and the public sector come together, those are imperatives for us if we're going to make real progress on moving the needle and seizing the opportunity that we just heard about.
Okay, so let me explain what I know he's doing. And I didn't know about the Wellcome Trust, but yeah, that's big news. So a couple of headlines. MasterCard digital wellness program to enhance transparency, security, and choice for online shopping. You really need to look at African news to understand what they're rolling out and what is in beta test on the continent of Africa. Africa to become testing ground for the Trust Stamp vaccine record and payment system. A new biometric identity platform partnered with the Gates-funded Gavi Vaccine Alliance. That's where the Wellcome Trust is. That's where the Gates Foundation is. That's where the vaccine companies are. The Gavi Vaccine Alliance and MasterCard will launch in West Africa and combine COVID-19 vaccinations, cashless payments, and potential law enforcement applications. A biometric digital identity platform that evolves just as you evolve is set to be introduced in low-income remote communities in West Africa thanks to a public-private partnership between the Bill Gates-backed Gavi Vaccine Alliance, MasterCard, and the AI-powered identity authentication company Trust Stamp. I don't have to explain what this does. This proves that you've had the vaccine. And it's a part of your credit card. The thing you use for everything. Hey, want to go to the stadium? Pay with your credit card. I'm sorry, you don't have a Trust Stamp.
Yeah, this is a roundabout way of what the Chinese are doing with their social scoring.
Rarely a day goes by that my lovely wife doesn't say to me, "We're becoming China!" And I can't disagree anymore. This is totally what... And I think it's great that the president issued this... the TikTok thing, who gives a crap about that? But WeChat, oh, yeah. I mean, that has to go. We're not allowed to have any... Twitter, that's not allowed in China. WhatsApp.
I have the story. I have the ironic report.
Okay. Let's listen to... Where is it?
Well, let's see where it is. You got me out of order here, so I'm kind of having trouble. I'm having nothing but trouble. Sanctions targets.
Yeah. France 24.
Well, let's try this. This is good anyway. Hong Kong. Unless you got more, I still want to hear more if there's more from that Zoom conference.
No, that's all that I pulled from the Zoom conference. It gets kind of repetitive, but I wanted to understand that there's this link between MasterCard, the United Nations, Gavi, the vaccine guys, and as usual, which Gates has been doing for 20 years, they're rolling it out in Africa. Hey, kids, we're back. Look at this shiny new credit card. Yum.
Okay, yeah, we'll play this sanctions thing.
Well, 11 people are targeted. 5 of those are members of Carrie Lam's cabinet.
Stop.
That's not it.
This is about this is a good clip, though. But about the targeting of these guys, because Trump's done that because Biden says Trump's not doing anything. He's not doing anything.
Now, wait a minute. Tell me what this is.
Oh, Trump has done. You know this stunt we've been pulling over the years, where you, instead of sanctioning the country, you sanction the bigwigs.
Magnitsky Act.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like you get on a list and you can't come in idea.
Plus other problems. Well, they're doing the same. Trump is doing the same thing to a bunch of Hong Kongers and executives, including Carrie Lam, and so they're poo-pooing it. And the French report, we can play this, and I can look for the other clip, which is unfortunate. I couldn't find right off the bat. I'll be irked if I can't find it, because it's a very good clip.
Well, we'll play this.
Okay, let's play the Hong Kong sanctions targets, and then I'll look harder.
Well, 11 people are targeted. 5 of those are members of Carrie Lam's cabinet, including the chief executive herself. Another 2 are the current police commissioner, Chris Tang, and his predecessor, Stephen Lowe, who handed the reins over during the Polytechnic University siege last November. And the remaining 4 are employees of the central government. They are all mainlanders, and they are all employed either on the mainland or Hong Kong side in liaison between the local Hong Kong government and Beijing. We also have, as you said there, the Hong Kong government has responded fairly strongly to these sanctions, which are in response not to the national security law per se, but to the repression of protests over the past year. The Hong Kong government has called them shameless and despicable, and it has also called them barbarous.
Okay, so they've done this, and they made the point that so what difference does it make? And in part 2 of this clip, he explains what the problems really are if you get one of these things laid on you.
The effect is unlikely to be immediate. It's not clear whether any of the 11 people have assets in the US that might be frozen. In fact, one of those, Luo Huining, who is the head of the Beijing liaison office in Hong Kong, derisively said that he has no assets, and he said that he offered to send Donald Trump $100 US so that it could be frozen. Carrie Lam herself has said previously that it would have no effect on hers. However, the extent of these sanctions can be very far-reaching. So a little bit further down the line, it might make life difficult for these people, particularly if they want to do banking with any financial institution that has operations in the US. Carrie Lam herself has already, members of Carrie Lam's government have already said, even before now, that certain banks based in Hong Kong don't want anything to do with them, and one has reported an account was forcibly closed. So there is a possibility that further down the line there may be problems for the 11 people in question, and also institutions itself. There is a possibility that it will make life difficult indeed for US companies based in Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, this is the big squeeze. The squeeze is coming down.
This is the squeeze that people don't realize. If you are cut out of the American banking system,
it's a problem. You got to go to Bitcoin.
Good luck with going to Bitcoin and going to Whole Foods.
Well, the Lightning Network will take care of that.
Yeah, cash still works. That's where cash is king. Okay, so we were talking about
I'm sorry. I just need to relate something. I needed to pump up the tires on my car. So I go to the gas station. And the first thing you run into, most of these gas stations are coin-operated air and vacuum. I didn't have any quarters, so you go in. No, I'm sorry, we got no coins. Because there's a coin shortage, and we don't touch your nasty cash anyway. And so I finally find one that has a credit card swipe on it. This is what it's come to. Yeah.
That's ludicrous.
Yeah.
Okay, did you go, when you went to the guy that had no coins, did you say to him, well, then can you turn on your air pump for me?
No, he has no. No, he has no control over that.
Sure, he does.
No, he doesn't. No,
yes, he does.
No, he does not. He can hit the master switch, but he can't trip the local mechanism.
He can go over there. He can walk out.
They charge $1.50 for the air. $1.50.
That's a joke.
Yes.
Just drive into any garage and they'll give you air for free.
6 quarters. No, thanks for the tip. Anyway, yes. So,
all right. So we're talking about WeChat.
Yes.
And it's a nightmare. So here's the this is what's funny about it is what you were alluding to. Play this clip. Executive order banning WeChat.
Subtext here is that the United States is discriminating against Chinese companies because it is afraid of China's economic might. But really, these executive orders are raising a lot of questions because of their sort of vague wording, especially the term transaction, which has not been specified here. A lot of questions raised, especially about the WeChat app, which is basically used for everything in daily life here in China by close to 1 billion people. So people in the United States with a lot ties to China, the Chinese diaspora, are wondering if they're going to be able to communicate with their family back home. People with business interests in China are wondering if they're going to be able to do financial transactions using the payment app over WeChat. Companies like Apple that have significant business in China are wondering if WeChat is no longer available in the App Store. What does that mean for its business? Or, for instance, Tencent, the company that owns WeChat, has a number of stakes this in U.S. tech companies like gaming companies? What will it mean for that sector specifically? So over the next 45 days, the Commerce Secretary of the United States has promised clarification on what this word transaction means, but Beijing has already promised retaliation. But it's not clear what this is going to look like, considering the fact that U.S. tech companies like Facebook, Google, or Twitter are already banned in China.
Exactly. And
there's your irony.
Yeah.
So everyone's making a big fuss. Hey, this should be retaliation for them being banned.
But there are better clips. I didn't get any myself. But what you want is, he's hurting Chinese Americans. They can't connect with their family in China through the WeChat. They can't send money back home.
Yeah, well,
that's exactly how they're playing it. It's crazy. Sure. And none of I don't think any of our apps are allowed. But really, forget WeChat. Although I think WeChat is quite an evil platform, at least the way the CCP uses it. Tencent is interesting because they have their hands in everything. I think they should divest of their Reddit investment. The gamers are very worried about this. They own large stakes in most of the big gaming studios and companies. And you know what? While we're at it, shut down the NBA.
That's already shut down. What?
There's not much left to shut down. Yeah, everyone. The ratings are horrible.
Well, who's going to watch these stupid games?
Yeah,
they're like exhibition games. And then you got to look at all the messages on the back of different vote. You look at it and say, who's this new player? Vote.
No, the other guy was
Bill Vogt. Is he now playing in the NBA? I didn't know this.
I like the white guy with Ally on his T-shirt. The one white guy.
Your favorite. It's your favorite.
So
Joe Ally.
Joe Ally. Joe Jali. Yeah. Meanwhile, over in Beirut, things are kicking off, and I smell a rat.
Today, protesters in Lebanon are calling for a sustained uprising to topple the government, days after the horrific explosion that leveled parts of Beirut and killed more than 150 people. On Saturday, anger boiled over, with demonstrators battling police in riot gear who fired tear gas and rubber bullets. The country's prime minister has offered early elections, but many local leaders say that is not enough.
So here's what you didn't see because we don't have video. Protesters unfurling gigantic gigantic. We're talking the 30-foot drop down from a balcony banner that says, "Revolution lives here."
Yeah, I have one Lebanon clip we can play and then talk about it.
Yeah, give it to me. The investigation refused?
Yeah, this is kind of interesting.
Calls for an international investigation into what caused the explosion in Beirut, one of the French president's key demands during his visit on Thursday, have already been rejected by the Lebanese president, who says an international inquiry would dilute the truth. Further complicating matters, he's raised the possibility the port was attacked, the first time a top Lebanese official has done so. Michel Aoun has nevertheless pledged swift justice. When it was revealed that a large shipment of ammonium nitrate had been sitting in a warehouse for years, many Lebanese people saw this as proof of the negligence of the ruling class. Meanwhile, responding to claims that Hezbollah might have stored explosives at the port, the group's leader denied they exercised any power there. A team of French investigators are already involved to help the Lebanese investigation. They say what they've found so far indicates an accident.
Regardless, the Chinese have been trying to get into the port to build as part of their Belt and Road for quite a while. They were very close. I think
they were signed up. Wasn't that port signed up for Belt and Road?
Last year they did sign an agreement, but nothing had really started. And last year's also kind of when the problem started, by coincidence, I'm sure, in Lebanon, people not happy. There's all kinds of, the prime minister, it's blown up, he's missing. Previous to this, there's an investigation that's been stopped. And meanwhile, China is sending, I love this term, peacekeepers to help Lebanon. So, whenever the United States or Russia or the United Nations, but certainly when China is sending you peacekeepers, it's usually the beginning of nothing good. And it's perfect for them. It's a perfect location.
It is. Maybe they should send in like a lot of them and clean up the mess.
I think there's a lot in there already. I mean, we basically sent 3 transport planes because screw it, we don't want any part of it. At least that's what I see. So, hey, we want to help, but you can go ahead. Have your Chinese friends do that. The people are flipping out. The people are...
I did do a search on Victoria Nuland to see if she had anything to do with this. And came up empty.
Good.
Came up empty.
I appreciate that you tried. That's very good.
I did.
That's very good. The capital of the revolution. That's what the banner said, and it has the socialist fist, which is the same as the Black Lives Matter fist. It's all a color revolution: red, purple, black. That's what's happening all around the world.
Drumstick.
Yeah, pay attention. 10% of the world GDP has to go into this. Everyone's working on it. MasterCard's your friend. MasterCard's your friend.
Good luck.
MasterCard's your friend.
These clowns.
I did pick up, following up on another globalist New World Order story. We played the clip of Scandinavia's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau being grilled over money that was going from the We charity into the pockets of his family members and even possibly himself. And he was about to approve a huge new budget of government money going to the We charity. I think it was $900 million, which I think is $1.80 in US, but it was a lot of money. And so that's a scandal. And of course, we don't hear about that here because Canada's fantastic. There's no people protesting against masks in Canada. Oh, I'm sorry. There actually are. But I have evidence of the $250,000 that went to Justin Trudeau's mom. And I think this is one of the biggest controversies. And he defended her by saying, hey, it's her work and her life's work, and she's been doing so much with the charity. And she has kind of an interesting past with celebrities and both in entertainment and on the political stage. It is said, in fact, that Trudeau looks very much like his real dad, Castro. But
you put it side by side, that guy is Castro.
He's just like Castro. So she got $250,000 for, wait for it, 2.5-minute speech.
Yeah.
Have you seen the speech?
No. Do you have a copy?
I have the speech right here. And I'll only play 1.5 minutes just to whet your appetite. This is Justin Trudeau's mom. Every minute of this is worth $1,000. No.
No.
100,000. 100,000. 250,000. This is at least $1.5 grand of it.
Happy birthday, Canada! Wow. I think this might even be better than Canada Day, the day after, because you know what we're looking forward now. And you all, the youth of our country, we're going to be turning it over to you pretty soon. And I have such hope. I'm so proud to be a Canadian. I'm so proud to be part of We as well. Now, I love it the most because it is neither a political movement nor a religious one. We encompasses all political parties.
And I'm getting paid royally for it.
All faiths, all beliefs, because we feel that together we can change the world.
Woo!
And we know we can. So hear it. I am a mental health advocate.
I really expected her to say, I'm a mental health patient, but it didn't. I was waiting for her to say that.
I am a mental health advocate. I can't miss the opportunity of preaching a little bit. Like eat kale, not donuts.
which is also my ISO end of show suggestion.
Like eat kale, not donuts.
This is a new one. This is a new one. Let's eat kale, not donuts.
Get a good night's sleep. Make your brain the healthiest brain you could have by treating it so well. Exercise, sleep, good food, and go forward. And if you run into any troubles, we all will. I did. Please reach out for help. I finally did. I got my life back. And I think, yay!
What an idiot. Did you, that was the second part of it?
No, that's a minute and a half. That's you don't want to hear
there's
any
more?
Oh, no, I don't have any more. I didn't clip the whole thing. No.
Hear the whole $250,000 worth.
No. You're only getting the $150.
Oh, well.
Isn't that... No wonder there's an outrage.
Yeah, I would think.
I mean, that... Well, and by the way, I want her agent.
Oh, her agent is Justin.
That's a good point. Oh, man.
All right, well, all I've got is a COVID death update from Amy. Of course, she twists the numbers and does everything cumulatively. So the number of people that have ever been diagnosed positive stays on the list.
And we'll wrap it up.
And she makes a huge difference the way she does it. If you compare it to the way Trump handles the same numbers, it's very funny how you can take these numbers and make them sound any way you want. Here we go.
The U.S. death toll currently stands at 160,000, by far the highest total in the world. On Thursday, the United States recorded more than 2,000 new coronavirus deaths, the highest daily figure since May.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who just put the C in the COVID deaths update, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning, all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to our trolls in the troll room. Let's see how we're doing, trolls. Hands up. We're going to count them. Wow. 1837. That's above average. That's probably...
No, for Sunday, it's about right.
No, usually it's 1800, so it's a little above average. It's 1837. Well, so, yes. Hands up, trolls. Well, remember, we did have a 8-car Zephyr plus a bonus car, so who knows? All bets are off. If you'd also like to be counted and put on the list, go to noagendastream.com where you can troll away to your heart's content. And you can do that while listening to any of our many live shows. Actually, we pretty much have a live show every single day of the week at this time. I'm reliably informed, which is good. We also have some shows live at night, and you can meet some interesting people there. And while you're in the troll room, hit up Doug for an invite to noagendasocial.com. That is our federated social network where the signal to noise is off the chart, as in no noise. The signal is fantastic. Even John C. Dvorak prefers it over any other social network, according to 5 out of 6 dentists. And then a thanks to our artist for episode 1266. We titled that 33 Cases. A lot of people caught on to what that was all about. And this was an evergreen. We could not find a current piece that just struck us or fit in. Tante Nail did this. She's from the Netherlands. This was the Welcome to Florida, the Rona hotspot. Instead of the Sunshine State, it's the road sign. Definitely pops. But what went on? We could not find anything that just worked. What was it? What happened?
It's as if there was no real triggering mechanism within the show structure that got any artist to have an inspiration. There was no, so everything was second tier. It's just hard to say. It happens. That's why we have the backlog. We had a lot of pieces that didn't catch it the first time around. There's a lot of pieces that came in second. We will bring them up and put them back into play. I mean, we had nothing but with Pettigrew's thing with what's his name, that Alfred E. Newman character who ran for president.
Right.
That thing floated.
That was around for a long time before we used it. Yeah.
Yeah, even though it was top tier from the get go.
Ah, yes. What do these terms like top tier and etc. mean? Well, find out by going to noagendaartgenerator.com, uploading your art if you want to be in consideration for the album art. Obviously, you don't always have to be an artist doing it live. We do look at other things. We look at stuff that comes in later. We are always searching if we can't find something topical right off the bat. So consider contributing your value to our Value for Value network by going to noagendaartgenerator.com. Tom Teneo, thank you once again. And now let's thank our executive producers and associate executive producers for episode 1267.
Well, we had a big boost on this show. For a Sunday, Sir Onimus came in prematurely.
Premature.
He normally comes in around the 23rd, 24th of the month.
Sir Onimus of...
Not that I keep track of these things.
Sir Onimus of Dogpatch and
Lower
Slobovia.
He's Sir Onimus of Dogpatch and Lower Slobovia. And he came in with his code number, 1122. So we never know what these mean. But apparently he's been floating around because he's got another tail.
Oh, okay. Good.
Thank you to and all the producers that make this an outstanding yet sometimes disagreeable safe space where many faiths, cultures, genders, and races collaborate with mutual respect for our differences. I continue to maintain a Groundhog Day lifestyle in the stuttering pandemic environment. Hajj 2020, which is the
fest,
the trek. What is it called? The trek. It's when you
pilgrimage.
You make it,
the pilgrimage.
Yes, the pilgrimage 2020. Hajj 2020 was surreal. He says.
Oh, he went. Wow.
No outsiders permitted, and a random selection of a small group of participants.
Wait a minute.
This was the first Hajj in many years that a friend or relative did not participate. Even Eid, E-I-D, the other Muslim celebration.
Mm-hmm.
We can catch up in our lore here.
Yeah.
From
well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Now, so he's an insider at the Hajj?
I don't know.
Sounds like it.
He knows something. Even Eid was unusual. And by the way, I'm going to just ask him an open question. When he says Hajj was surreal, no outsiders permitted, what does he mean by outsiders? I thought outsiders were never permitted. I thought you had to be a card-carrying Muslim to even go into that area.
Well, I take it as only the people of the secret round table.
Maybe only the locals.
No, I'm thinking he's part of the round table of the Hajj.
I don't know if it's... Well, he's going to have to explain himself. Even Eid was unusual. Selecting animals virtually... This is where you have your goat sacrifice.
Yes.
Selecting in his tribe. He has a bunch of goats. He's got a big goat collection, apparently.
Yeah.
We've talked about his goat collection.
He has award-winning goats.
Yeah, he's a goat guy. Selecting animals virtually or people just making online orders rather than taking the trip to a farm and selecting their sacrifice.
Right.
We selected 15 white goats from our tribe, which is the goat pile of goats he's got, to contribute to the celebration and feed the poor. That's a lot of goats.
Yeah, that is some goat.
Goats are delicious, by the way, if you ever get a chance to eat one. Goat karma kept them healthy through their end, so thank you. When our guard repeated they only used white goats, which is our tradition, a local friend laughed and explained how the locals are hearing about BLM protests in America, and the guard was concerned I might be upset if he killed an American's black goat.
So we only went for the white goats. Nice.
The infodemic reporting from the M5N conflates reporting with lies, damn lies, and statistics. The more the M5M and global agencies use numbers for covering COVID and the climate crisis, the more the failing of STEM programs are evident.
Yeah, no kidding.
Poor use of mathematics may even explain stock market valuations. As the old accounting interview joke goes, how much is 1 + 1? Answer, what do you want it to be?
At Arthur Anderson, it can be anything you want.
This now applies to reporting of many forms of numbers-based information. The culmination is the move toward MMT as political doctrine, modern monetary theory, demonstrating how social sciences have usurped the dismal science and mathematics. humans progress by individual self-interest across all economic systems. I have lived in and competed in a few systems, and identifying competitors' self-interest identifies paths to outperform. Sadly, too few pursue paradise as being in their long-term self-interest. No jingles, no karma.
I always like what Hieronymus has to say. He seems like a wise guy. Not a wise guy, but a wise guy. And it's a tribe, right? A bunch of goats is called a tribe. I think we learned that from him.
Yeah, we brought that up in a previous show.
Yeah. I remember the cab driver who I used to take me to the airport when I had the condo in San Francisco.
Yeah.
At the time, I called him Tony the Terrorist.
Yeah.
And then one time he's like taking me to the airport and he pops the trunk and I want to put my bag in and there's a dead goat in the back. Oh, sorry, man. That's for later. I got to take that home. Different culture, but you get used to it. Hieronymus.
Dead goat.
Hieronymus of Dogpatch and Lowers.
In the middle of the road.
Thank you so much. You are a true super patron and, of course, executive producer, again, for the No Agenda Show. Thank you.
Tony Cabrera comes up on the list with $1,104.95, so he's a big donor today. This donation was made possible by purchase at your No Agenda shop from listeners like you. Oh, this is Tony's.
That's Tony. It's Tony. Yeah, it's Tony.
From the show. Yeah, Tony. Hey, Tony. Hi, TM. I hope your loved ones are doing well during these crazy times. We just finished adding a brand new photos section to the shop. Any listeners who tag photos of their gear with hashtag No Agenda Shop will be commemorated in all their mouth-hitting glory on our website. Thank you, John and Adam, for being light years ahead of the Scott Adamses and Matt Taibbi's, who will eventually realize Operation Mockingbird is alive and well. Can you take me out with a Trump jobs, and a Biden? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Jobs.
Let's vote
You've
for
got
jobs.
Karma.
Thank you, Tony. Wow. So I guess we sold a lot of masks, or at least the shop did. Something's doing well. Wow, I love that. Well, I'm glad everyone's enjoying.
Yeah.
This is such a
NoAgendaShop.com.
Such a good part of the value network. I really like how that works.
It works well. Earl Walkman of Buckeye, $432.10. ITM Tall, White, and Buzzkill. 2 clips and email to Adam.
I got him.
Please cue the clips, some attached by me. Biden, whole load. Stop, workers are organized. Biden, what are we doing? Stop raffing, stop. While Bo Jiden has been in hiding, he has not disappeared with the countless hours of sound bites, but let's not revel in this man's quick deterioration. To keep beating this man down when he's down so far in the basement is uncalled for. Whether it's the plugs or the Pez dispenser head-on, head-off occurrences, it's no raffing matter. Met with an old friend and his keeper for lunch, whom I hit in the mouth months back, Dave Homoni from Okie. We were wondering who would be cooler to hang out and drink with, Adam or John. The consensus was John. 2 dudes named Ben. However, the keeper thinks Adam would be cooler. Always the females. Always. Please be kind to old Joe. And can I get some moving karma in stereo? Earl Walkman of Buckeye.
Yes, who did indeed send some of his
convoluted note.
He sent some of his own clips. So
I'm going to give you the whole load today. Stop trying to keep your workers organized. What are we doing? What's going on right now?
Don't laugh. Why you are laughing? Shut up. Shut up.
You've got karma.
There's your stereo karma. Thank you very much.
Troy Kropog in Nashville, Tennessee. 33333, Music City. I was waiting until I had a firm grasp on all the inside jokes and numerical codes to donate. Obviously a Joe Rogan guy.
Yeah.
I still don't, so here's a bunch of 3s. I happen to be listening for 3 years, not a Joe Rogan guy.
Not a Joe Rogan guy.
So he's been listening for 3 years and hasn't figured out all the jokes and inside codes and stuff, huh?
Wow.
So it was the perfect time to get this done. I don't have a good joke, and being a douche in real life, I refuse a de-douching, so please de-douche my friends.
Oh, okay.
You've been de-douched.
Actually, we had names for them. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You just got de-douched, and the guys were Jake in Idaho and John in Nashville, both you guys. The karma for all listeners works, so that's all I ask. Keep on keeping us sane.
All right. Thank you very much, Troy.
You've got karma.
Another $333.33 donation from Morgan Hill, California. Sir Julian Earl of the South Bay and autonomous cars. Or autonomous. Reporting in to notify the Peerage Committee that I'll be moving to the Austin area this week.
Whoa.
A long list of stuff I've been doing is now illegal in California. Time to go.
Time to go.
I don't know what that is. Wife and kids are flying. I'll be on a long road trip with our old and faithful dog. Travel karma, please. Adam, we'd love to hit you and Tina up for some G2 before we buy a place.
G2?
Up for some G2. I don't know.
What's G2?
Joe Rogan and I are inbound. See you soon. Kisses, Sir Julian.
Rogan's actually here this weekend. He's building a studio.
Well,
yeah.
Good luck with that.
Hey, what is G2? We need to know what G2 is. All right.
Well, look it up.
I want to know what G2 is. Here's your karma.
The chat, the control room knows.
Karma.
No, they don't seem to know.
Well, then you have to. I don't know either. Sir Seven from Lotus Land comes in with $333. We get a good donation segment today.
Very nice.
Please credit me as Sir Seven from Lotus Land, gentlemen. It's time to give back. I've sold into a slave at home program, and a number of 33s have been popping up. As a reminder, thank you for your courage and thank you for being the best podcast in the universe. Requesting a de-douching at once.
You got it.
You've been de-douched.
Jingles and karma. Once China is asshole, 2 to the head. That's true. And a Trump's job karma for those willing to take the risk.
Okay.
China is asshole.
That's true.
Jobs.
You've got karma.
Well, that's interesting. Stephen Schnuell in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, $333. We got no note from him. It just says add special instructions to the seller.
Did he do this donation on eBay?
I don't know what this is.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
I'll look him up before our next segment, and we'll see if I can find him in an email. Colin Preston, meanwhile, comes in as the first associate executive producer, $288.88 from Oregon City, Oregon. He wants the following jingles. If you're white, you're racist. If you're a male, you're a pig. Joe Biden, come on, man, and round out with karma.
Got
for
it.
all the listeners. Adam.
Yeah.
You're correct about neighborhood parents banding together to homeschool their kids for this upcoming school year. This is exactly what we're doing with our son, with a few other families in our neighborhoods. In a strange way, COVID has actually brought our local community closer together.
You know what?
There you go. There's your reset.
Well, you know, it's interesting.
Let's reset the education system.
Well, it's really. One of our teachers emailed me, Nathan, and he said, "Yeah, sure." And he's a teacher. He's been a teacher all over the. Nashville, Seattle, Washington, Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yeah, sure. Some people, or it's a very privileged thing, is his point, to organize into homeschools. He says the real issue is really low income who rely on public school system for food, medical care, basically babysitting, substituting parenting during the day. It looks really nice for us privileged people on the podcast, but it's much, much worse for lower income families. And they have there's no way to organize that way. This is huge issue which you're not seeing discussed is the message from our teacher.
So what you're suggesting is that the lower income people are too stupid to do this?
No, I don't. I think they.
Is that what he's suggesting? That they're too dumb to do any of this kind of thing?
No, that we're too privileged to think that everyone can do this. That was his point.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the community.
Of course.
Yeah, obviously not everybody wants to homeschool in any circumstance. But anyway, we'll go on. Here's a boots on the ground report from Portland. How about a boots on the ground jingle? I suggest something from the intro music from the old PC game Red Alert. And he's got a link.
Yeah.
The federal, quote, stormtroopers, unquote, have a duty to protect the federal courthouse downtown. Every night, Antifa thugs try to burn it down. If the feds leave, then the courthouse is toast. If the thugs leave, then the feds can stand down. It's a stalemate. But the media would have you believe that Trump has ordered the feds to pepper spray innocent civilians. It's fake news. The only people around the courthouse after dark are troublemakers. Moving on. One of my favorite things about the show is the boots on the ground reports. Big thanks to all the producers who write in and share their local observations. I'm looking at you, Dave Fugazotto and Seronimus. Please, perhaps a boots on the ground segment is worth considering. Well, we do it.
This is it. This is it.
We do it when we do it. That's all we can do.
Yeah, and the minute you start to structure stuff, it gets real difficult.
Yeah, we don't need to structure anything.
But
we're unstructured.
I do appreciate your jingle requests.
If you're white, you're a racist. If you're male, you're a pig. If you're cis, you are privileged. Skinny shaming if you're big. And if you're straight, you're homophobic. Heaven help if you're wrong. So don't have an opinion and just do what you're told. Come on, man.
You've got karma.
So, Sir Pate. Sir Pate here. First of all, thank you for your InfoSanity services. He comes in with $234.56 from Amsterdam. This is my birthday donation, August 11th, requesting a dose of F cancer and goat karma for my buddy Edward, 40-ish, 2 kids, waiting for a bone marrow transplant. Finally, Miss C, who recently found a liver donor she needed as she lost hers from severe cancer. By the way, I know this is stretching our karma thin, but my previous request yielded an amazing turn of events. Can you also play If You Wake Up with the Blues jingle? Don't know what that one is. Let's just focus on what's really important. Kind regards, Sir Pate.
I think it's When You Wake Up with the Blues. Is that Jeff Smith?
By the way, let me just go back because I said buddy Edward. Then I left out Robert, also is recovering from radiation treatment.
Oh, no.
I left him out.
I can't find it. I know exactly what it is.
I don't know what it is. I never heard it.
It's If You Wake Up in the Blues. No agenda in the morning. That's Jeff Smith.
Wake Up in the Blues. And again, it says it's a cereal commercial. And it says for the No Agenda show.
Right. But what the hell was it? What was the cereal? That might help me find it. If you wake up with the blues, no agenda.
Something in your cornflakes, in your in your mug.
Fluoride in your cup.
Fluoride in your cup.
But that's different.
Oh. Well, that's where that's what we got.
Yeah, this is the one I got for you. That's all I got. This will have to do. No, this is something else. I don't know what that is.
Can I get some Adam Curry?
That's not
Can I get a little
I think the F cancer will be better.
I butchered everything. Yes, we'll just do the important part, which is why you really emailed in, and we're glad that we got your note.
You've got karma.
All right, moving along. Sir Ever of the Watt in Linwood, Michigan, $234.56, 23456. One of my favorite donations. Greetings from Sir Ever of the Watt. Look, we are trying to take all your prison inmates except for the pedophiles and slip and fall lawyers if you will take our governor. Yes, I figured you wouldn't bite. Nuts. No jingles, no karma.
All right.
So you're, by the way, your Michigan governor that you don't like so much, Whitmore or whatever her name is.
Whitmer.
Whitman or Whitman? Is it Whitman or Whitmore?
Whitmer.
Whitmer. So Whitmer is now showing up on the list of potential, if not top runners for a VP.
I think she's perfect.
Yeah, she's a bonehead. Perfect.
Yeah,
you're right.
If they really want to lose, she's like dispendable. You
will find somebody better. That's your problem.
Yeah, right.
He already painted himself in the corner by saying only a woman.
Right.
And then all the blacks got mad at him because it has to now be a black woman.
The blacks.
Yes, the blacks. David Langford's next on the list from Lander, Wyoming. And he comes in with the same thing, 23456. One of my favorite donations. He did a handwritten note. A bunch of accounting on the back. He's got a knighting to be, he's going to be Sir Side Real, or Side Real, I'm not sure. Encloses a check for 23456, which finally brings me to over the knight level. Please knight me Sir Side Real. And I request green jello with carrot shavings at the round table in honor of my Mormon upbringing.
Wow, green jello with carrot shavings. I know a lot of LDS. I have not been privy to the green jello and carrot shavings.
You've obviously never been over to their house for dinner.
Yeah, I have, actually.
Well, then they've kept it from you. Of note, I no longer believe, and I would credit the no agenda show. Well, thank you. With teaching, I don't know if that's a good thing. We're going to get a bunch of Mormons mad at us. With teaching me to think beyond the box. Unfortunately, I didn't hit my wife in the mouth, and since she is a strict LDS true believer, our views diverge so much she is divorcing me.
No.
Yeah. This is like an issue here. If you can't, you got to no agenda together or not. I'd like to request some alimony karma. Alimony determination karma, and despite this tough situation, I'm so glad that I've listened to you both since 2013. Wow. That's a long time. Sincerely, Sir Sidereal. P.S. Flat Earth is a distraction. Concave Earth explains everything. See wildheretic.com. P.P.S. Kids, if you ever hear this someday, let's talk, and I love you. P.P.P.P.S. Out of body experiences are awesome. All right. Okay.
Hold on a second, John. This is a thing. There's all kinds of recipes, actually.
For the Jell-O?
Green Jell-O with carrot shavings.
Yeah.
6 signs you grew up Mormon. Huh.
Well, you were really doubtful that this guy was the real deal.
I was surprised that he would use his privilege to stump me.
Huh. Yeah, well, he did.
Wow.
And you were apparently stumped.
I was.
I, meanwhile, didn't care that much about one way or the other. Green shavings of carrots, I don't care. I know people do a lot of crazy. You know, the best thing, there was this thing called, if you want to, I don't know if you can get it anymore. The kids bought it. You can get a brain mold. It looks like a brain, Jell-O mold. And you put in, you make the Jell-O with some milk in it or something, so it gets kind of this funny color, since it's not transparent. And then you put in red gummy bears all through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make a Jell-O mold and serve it to the family. It looks like a brain on the table.
Wow.
It's part of our religion.
The folks in Utah are scratching their heads over that.
Not so much Emma Pilgrim, who comes in with $233.33. ITM from Pittsburgh have had a great meetup yesterday at a city park. Fellow slave Tim owns the Mac and Gold food truck and brought us some delicious macaroni.
Nice.
It definitely was several hundred levels up from cardboard and cheap cheddar melted together. If you don't mind sharing, what exactly was the origin of that jingle? Tim is curious.
Which jingle is it?
The macaroni and cheese jingle. You mix some macaroni with cheap cheddar and blah, blah, blah.
Well, no, she says very specifically the song, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we have a couple. All right, keep going. Well,
no, I think it was produced from some outsiders, and they just sent it to us. I don't know if we even know the credit for it anymore. Anyway, let me finish the note. Tim is curious. Conversation topics included various Karen encounters we've had, tech babble by the dude's name Ben, how much we all love MoFax, and trying to hit a guy who came with a friend who hasn't listened to the show yet, trying to hit him in the mouth. 2 dogs, one sporting no agenda swag, no less. It also joined us. It was like a party. Thanks so much for all the work you guys do in creating the infotainment we all know and love. Jingle request, the mac and cheese song, Reverend Al's mint tulips, as well as some parenting goat karma for my husband and I, as we try to raise our 4 human resources 5 and under.
Whoa.
Good luck. That's a lot. Well, actually, they start taking care of themselves in another 10 years.
Yeah.
To be godly people in this crazy world, Emma.
No wonder you're living the mac and cheese life.
Living the mac and cheese life.
Mac and cheese.
You slaves can get used to mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Cheap macaroni and cheap cheddar melted together.
Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Hey, everybody.
Sitting out on the sidewalk sipping mint tulips.
You've got karma.
Dave Basor in Moore, Oklahoma, $202.02. First donation. I don't know any way to get to you guys, and the donation note on the page seemed rather small. You know, you cut and paste is bigger than you think. I had a bit more to say. If this gets to you there, great. If not, guess you can read it later. Jeez. Okay, Eeyore. ITM dudes, and thanks for your courage. It's my first donation, D-douche-mate.
You've been de-douched.
I'm yet another JRE migrant from Adam's appearance and haven't gone back. Your show played a huge part in me dealing with my overly swollen amygdala. Nothing made much sense, but from the start, you guys were calling it correctly.
Another life saved or created, John.
Yeah, exactly. We've been calling it correctly for over 12, 13 years. The more I listen, the more just because it's just the thing we do. The more I listen, the more I could see the past that the BS was hitting us from all sides. My smoking hot wife, Faith Ann, thought the show was odd at first, but now she asks to listen to it and gets kind of pissed if I start it without her.
Ooh, that's a violation. You can't do that. Don't start the show.
She's turning 33 plus 13 on 8/11, so she's literally on the edge of being smoking hot. Yeah, you said it, not me. Can't wait because it's a constant battle with the air conditioning this time of year. She's constantly cold. Please add her to your birthday list. We got her.
Yeah.
We look forward to every show. Keep doing what you're doing. The word is getting out there, and more people are waking up to what's going on. It's a great thing to see. I'd like to see a Trump aroused, Trump it's true, a handful of Fauci wheezes, and a come on man from Biden, which is going to be a new favorite apparently. And a goat karma for all those needing it now, damn near 6 friggin' months later. Dave Basor and Moore. Okay.
What was the Fauci wheezing? I didn't have these written down. And then after that?
Okay, you're on Trump aroused, Trump it's true, a handful of Fauci wheezes, and come on, man, and goat karma.
All right, so we'll do 2 of those wheezes, and we'll throw in a come on, man, and a goat karma, and away we go.
It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
It's true.
Freeze.
Shit. Hey, what happened to Joe? We didn't hear him there.
Come on, man.
There we go.
You've got karma.
Yeah, we're winding down. We're down to Ratu Purtuck in Brownstown, Michigan, $200.01. In the morning, everyone. I'm a recovered COVID, but I have been cut. I've been out of the job market since March. Since March, I'm sorry. I'm a recovered COVID. Okay. I am surgically trained podiatrist who worked low-paying associate jobs. I have a unique opportunity to acquire an old established practice, and I'm appealing to the hearts of the No Agenda community. I created a GoFundMe to cover the high startup costs. All your help is immensely valued. You're in the family. You're all the family I've got. Wow. Work karma. My bitchy link bit, or my Bitly. Jeez, hang on to yourself. He wants some work karma. My Bitly link is Bitly. Okay. That is B-I.
Listen, I'm going to put this in the show notes. I would recommend, we'll put it in your credit. I would recommend to everybody, if you're, and this is, we've talked about it before, if you're looking for work, if you're looking for any kind of community that can help you out, noagendasocial.com. Register right away. There are people who are helping each other get jobs, especially in Dudney Bend jobs or dudettes. But do that there, and that is federated, so it goes further than just our little social network. That's the place to do this. So please go to noagendasocial.com for that, and I will hot link your name to this. Radu, thank you.
Christopher Brown's up next.
Hold on, I need to give him his jobs karma, which is what he wanted.
Sorry.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
My God, that's not a foot. You're going to quibble about an inch? Christopher Brown's next. $200 from Kaneohe, Hawaii. Is it Hawaii or Hawaii? It's Hawaii. Well, thanks. You're welcome. ITM lads, I was hit in the mouth by JRE and have since adopted various no agenda swag with my hot, non-smoking, love and light life partner, Malika Cook, and wanted to get her an associate executive producer title for her birthday on the 10th. She was nice. One of the many spa workers here rubbed out by the Rona and is beginning her 33rd year. Okay, we'll have to make that switch. She'll be getting the credit. Please wish her a haole lahanau, which is happy birthday in Hawaiian, which is culturally appropriated, he says, although I'm not sure if that's true. SVP, jobs karma for the slaves. Baby, delivering karma for our first due in November. And Trump, don't trust China. CKB from Kaneohe, Hawaii.
All right. Thank you very much. And we've made the switcheroo, and she is on the list.
Donald Trump, don't trust China. China is asshole.
You've got karma.
And now your jobs karma.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Well, we want to definitely thank this top-heavy list of associate executive producers and executive producers for show 1267.
Indeed.
And it's fantastic. Thanks for the support. We'll keep it up.
For those of you who are new, you're coming from somewhere else, or maybe you've tuned back in. This is the value for value system that we've deployed successfully because we have been able to keep it going for over 10 years, over 13 years, actually. It's very simple. You listen to us for several hours, all the producers helping us to put it together. What is that worth to you? What is your time worth? What would you pay for entertainment of this kind in the movie theaters, or even if you rent a movie on one of the streaming services? We just ask you to translate that into a number and send it to us digitally. That is the Value for Value Network, the Value for Value system, and lots of people place value on the work we do, and that goes for all the producers because we really produce it all together. It is, after all, your best podcast in the universe, and please consider supporting us for the Thursday show. Go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
And at least you know to be on the lookout for your new MasterCard in the mail.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
Well, I want to start this second segment off with a few Biden clips. I can't do a Kayleigh segment because she's not doing any press conferences worth the powder, so we're going to have to push that off.
Is this Joe bumbling around?
Yeah, mostly.
Well, wait. I pulled something especially because we are often accused of not doing this. I got a really good Trump stumble bumble, like a really embarrassing one.
Well, we did 2 of those in the last show, so I don't know what people are complaining about. But okay, yeah, play it as the prelude.
What did we do on the last show with Trump? What did he have?
I had the 2 quotes. I had him praising Hillary, going on and on about Hillary, how great she was, and then saying that the United States of America began in 1492.
No, I'm talking about a childish gaffe where someone just says something so stupid that you can laugh at them hard. This is what I'm talking about. This was when he signed the order. I think it might have even been an executive order for the national parks. And he was trying to pronounce the name of one of our national parks.
When they gaze upon Yosemite, towering sequoias.
Yosemite. Holy crap. Has he never seen the word Yosemite? Has he never seen Yosemite Sam?
I don't think he's ever been to Yosemite.
Maybe he's been to Yosemite.
Yosemite.
We should check it out.
That's good. I think that qualifies.
Yosemite. Let me listen.
That's actually better than some of the Biden ones I've got.
Listen, hold on.
When they gaze upon Yosemite.
Hey, Yosemites.
Sequoias.
He's calling Ivanka. Yosemites, come on over here.
Oh, good. Okay,
All
well,
right.
this is now your new beat.
Please. Thanks.
Well, this is more classic Joe Biden. I'm going to play this one. This is the Biden CH-1647. This is a classic example of Joe Biden's math.
Look at calls for cutting local funding for police nationally now in his budget by almost $500 million. 400, I think, is $47 million.
Yeah, that's really not fair. He doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to these numbers. All his life has been used to millions and millions adding up to $1 billion maybe here or there, and now it's just gotten out of control. He can't make the switch.
I'm glad that this is your beat. You're going to defend Joe. Well, then I got to ask Adam for you.
Oh,
this is Biden on justice reform. This is part 1, and then I'm going to ask you a question when this plays.
Okay.
And look, we have to. This has a call to action to finally confront and end the racial injustices that are prevalent in this country, and far too long. As president, I'm going to fight every day to lead these changes and make sure that we lay out the steps that Congress should immediately take for real policing reform. To hold cops to the highest standard, which the vast majority of meet. I'm going to invest in shifting our criminal focus from incarceration to prevention, ending cash bail, ensuring that one is incarcerated for drug use alone shouldn't go into being incarcerated. They should be going into mandatory rehabilitation, drug courts, and much more. They should be eligible when they get out for reentry into society, from everything from Pell Grants to housing. I'm going to fight to end. Look, there's an awful lot. There's an awful lot going on.
All right, I've listened to the clip. I'm prepared for my questionio.
Okay, what's the one thing that has been going? The left-wing promotion has been going on from city to city that they've been trying to do, and so it's not worked out very well. And he slipped it in there as something that should be universal. This one thing they've been pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and California's already adopted it in some areas.
What is the one thing and they slipped it in there? Something about instead of going to jail, you will go into a drug rehab or some program?
No. You could play the whole thing again, but I'm not going to belabor this. Play the Biden answer.
Oh, we have an answer, a solution. Oh, okay, here we go. I like it.
Ending cash bail and ending cash bail.
Oh, ending cash bail. Yeah, well, he kind of. Sorry, I didn't hear that when he said it the first time. He learned how to say that in Yosemite. Ending cash bail. Yeah.
So that's like a big deal. They want to end cash bail. So in other words, you get arrested, you get let go.
But hold on, is that? Well, that's what happens. That's already taking place in New York. They already have no cash bail.
Well, they're doing that here in San Francisco too.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's interesting because you don't even get arrested for under $900. So or damage or theft. So what do you have to do to actually get arrested and have to post? I guess there's no bail?
Murder.
Wow. That's it, huh?
Pretty much. So now here's the big one everyone made a big fuss about. This is his diversity gaffe, which I guess you and Moa have to talk about this, and I don't know, maybe there's nothing here. But it is pretty funny when you listen to Biden going on, because this is taking the black voter for granted once again.
Yes, and by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Yeah. Well, he later clarified, of course.
Oh, sure he did.
I didn't really mean that.
Now, let's go with this. This is the ISO I picked up in competition to your ISO.
Okay.
And this is from the same. I didn't have it in any of these clips, but here it is.
It's real. It's not a joke. It's real.
Ooh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good competition. Did you have any others, or is that the one?
That's the only one. That's my one lone ISO.
So let's just do a little compete here. I like it.
Like eat kale, not donuts.
It's real. It's not a joke. It's real.
Nah, I think it's real is better as an end of show.
Well, the quality of the clip is better.
It's a better quality clip, yes. Nice.
So apparently, I guess he's got the first crew sound guys finally, because of what we've discovered, which is that all the quality sound guys are working for Steyer and Bloomberg because they were paying top dollar, and now that those guys are out of it, they've gone to work for Biden.
Yes, and I did find out who possibly was wink, wink, nudge, nudge was responsible for the shit so far, and we're going to call them out. That's BNY Productions in Sioux City, Iowa. Apparently, they're the guys who have messed up everything. That's what the industry is telling me. Yes, it's like remote live streaming. We use Waves Emotion LV1. It's like someone said, "Oh, how can we go wrong with these incredibly smart techno nerd guys? Look, they got a whole company. They got gear. They got flashy lights. One of them's Indian."
Well, I don't know. I'm
just saying.
Sound like a bigot and say if I'm going to be hiring top-notch sound guys, I'm going to L.A. or New York.
Yeah, not to Sioux City. Yeah,
just saying. Even Oakland.
Yeah.
All right. Some action. There was some Georgia student took a bunch of pictures. They made a big fuss about it, and they kicked her out of school.
In Georgia, 2 high school students have been suspended after they published images of classmates ignoring social distancing guidelines and not wearing masks in crowded hallways at North Paulding High School in Dallas, Georgia. 15-year-old sophomore Hannah Waters says she was ordered to remain home from school for 5 days after she tweeted a photo and a video of unmasked students crowding her school's hallways on the second day of the new school year. She told CNN her only aim was to call attention to unsafe conditions.
And then what happened? Did they get arrested? What happened to these kids?
They just sent them home.
So this is just some bull crap?
For a month or a week.
Oh, I'm so tired of this stuff. Especially the school thing, man.
The schools are bad.
Nothing's going to reopen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. The teachers are scared crapless, most of them.
And they should be. They're all lefties that are... read the New York Times.
That's not true. That's not true. They're not. But the unions, the teachers' unions, they have no say. The teachers themselves, I don't think have any say. These unions are the ones that are really a problem.
Well, it's starting to look that way.
Well, as I was reading, most teachers, the union dues are. It's kind of predetermined. It's taken right out of your check. You don't get to write a check to them. It's all taken care of. Boom, it's gone. You're in the union.
That's the way it is with most unions.
Yeah. Well, that means, you don't have anything, nothing you can say.
Well, you can say, I don't want this. You can go to the meetings and make a fuss.
Okay. I'm taking exception because we have a lot of teachers who are producers, and they're certainly not all lefties who read the New York Times. Certainly
but
not.
Apparently, the guys who run the unions are lefties who read the New York Times.
Yes. Those are definitely those guys, for sure.
Well, you can take over a union. It's not impossible.
I think if you see, people are going insane. The Brooklyn parents released some, something for schools and what needs to be done, and they're already of the mindset. There's no other way from now on out. It's going to be full on remote distance learning. Let's just prepare for it. There's nothing left to do. We might as well do it. When we can, we'll have some physical education classes. We need infrastructure. And they're trying to create this utopian world where all kids can sit at home with their little Google Chromebook and become and learn.
And here's the problem that you're going to have to deal with, which you don't have to deal with now, which is if you have a history teacher who's the best in the world, and he teaches a online course out of San Luis Obispo, why am I taking anybody else's course? I would send my kids to flock to the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
And so they're only taking top-notch people from here and there, and they would be on this. It's online. I mean, what difference does it make? Everything's going to gravitate to a very few sources because there's people out there that'll show themselves to be really lousy online teachers. Some people are only good in classrooms.
I don't think any teacher can educate effectively. Certainly not to young people remotely. Well, let's go over my thoughts on this, as I've talked about this on the show numerous times, because I've taken the old control data, Plato or whatever that system was. When I was in college, it was just on, kind of a computerized learning that doesn't work. Everybody knows it doesn't. That's why they discontinued the whole thing, and it crops up every once in a while. You can learn a little bit, but there's nothing like, hands-on. Somebody, oh, no, you do it this way, because you always get stuck in a rut. You don't know, you quite understand anything. You do need hands-on. But to be on the other side of the argument, there are probably people who are so good at online that I could see that it's being effective with somebody that's actually not a computer, like a pure computer program, but someone who's actually lecturing online. I listen to lectures that are broadcast on TV on some of these obscure university networks. I've listened to the lectures, though I was in the college listening to a lecture. So you seem to be saying, it's okay, you can figure out how to do it, and it's going to be just fine.
No, I said that it's certain things you can't learn unless somebody's telling you exactly to put hands on, saying, no, you do it this way. You have to be right on top of you.
Right.
But for broader subjects like history, I'll go back to that, how hands-on does that need to be? How come a series of lectures and a reading maybe 6 or 7 important books?
All I know is, and I'll take history as an example, I was only good at two subjects, geography and history, and the reason for both that I excelled in them is because the teachers had even a glance from a teacher to look and make sure you understand it is something that does not translate in this environment. I think it's a horrible idea, and I think that I know that this is not going to be good if we continue with this idea that this remote education is going to turn out well-developed, well-rounded individuals. No, and if you have 4 kids in one house and they're all simultaneously on their laptops, no. We only can talk about this from our own experience of where we are, but that's not we're top 5% of people in privilege and wealth in the country. Probably everybody who's listening.
Obey.
Probably everyone who's listening, except for the 5 producers experiencing homelessness. They're probably laughing their ass off listening to this.
Well, that's part of the New World Order.
It's definitely part of the New World Order, and I'll have no part of it. And, of course, I don't have kids anymore that have to take place in it. But, geez, if I ever get a grandkid, I'm going to get very involved and annoying.
Let me play a couple more clips.
Hold on a second. First, I forgot I do have a new Joe Biden jingle for your segment, so I'll play it after the fact.
Come on, man. An elephant, a lion. Physical and mental filth, as well as my mental filth. Corn pop. You're a lion, dog face, pony shoulder.
Like corn pop.
Corn pop. Just for no reason.
For no reason. There's the big deal in the international news is the Belarus election.
Yes. This is, is it just the election or more just like a general riot?
Well, there's a riot that's going to happen after the election, I can assure you, because the election is rigged. And there's a lot of reports on this, and people should look a few of them up because it's very interesting. And I don't know. I also looked up Belarus, Victoria Nuland, found nothing.
No. I can tell you what this is, but let's listen to your clip first.
Okay, this is the Belarus election from France 24, kind of the background on the whole thing.
Touring Belarus for his video blog, Sergei Tikhanovsky channeled a nation's discontent, not without humor. In May, Tikhanovsky announced he would run for president and was jailed. But his wife Svetlana was allowed on the ballot. Svetlana Tikhanovskaya is flanked by two other women. The campaign manager and wife, respectively, of two men who were barred from running. One of them was jailed. The other, Valery Tsepkalo, is now in exile. He says Belarusians tolerated Alexander Lukashenko's authoritarianism while the economy was doing okay, but not anymore.
It's a disastrous situation we have. Like in 20 years, more than 650,000 people left the country. And the GDP of Belarus 10 years ago was $60 billion, and this year it would be 57.
When the authorities prevented Tikhanovskaya from holding a rally on Thursday, she urged her supporters to attend a government-sponsored concert instead. Changes, the title of a perestroika-era hit that suddenly rings out from the sound system. A symbolic rebellion that earned these DJs 10 days in prison.
I also got a report from a foreign source. That was France 24. I got from Al Jazeera. It's about the same length.
Ignoring a government ban, they shouted, "Leave Lukashenko, we will win." Thousands of supporters of opposition leader Svetlana Tikhanovskaya rallied for hours in front of an empty stage after the candidate and her team was barred from entering.
We all are worried, but we all do not fear anymore. Or we have less fear as before, because it's not possible to have so much fear in our country.
I'm here to support the next generation, our children. I'm 51 years old, and to be honest, I can't watch how my mother is forced to count every cent because of her small pension.
Lukashenko also lost support after he called the COVID-19 crisis a psychosis, despite thousands falling ill.
While police has been deployed in full force around the park, people from all walks of life and all ages have gathered here risking arrest. They are beyond fear, they say.
All right, so I think I know what this is. You are seeing a repeat of Ukraine, as there are 7 critical Russian pipelines that flow through Belarus. They go to Germany, they go to the Netherlands, they go to Poland, they go to Belgium. And if the flow from Belarus is cut, Germany, the Netherlands, and Belgium will then have to get their gas from Ukraine. But the Russians are not happy because it's the same situation where they are not paying the toll. So they're kind of at the distribution point. They get the big tap from the Russian pipeline, and then they send it off to these diverse pipelines, and they take a cut in the middle, and they haven't been paying that cut back, and now the Russians are saying, well, we're going to shut this down. I think it may have already happened to some of these supply lines, and now Belarus is saying, oh, okay, we'll just tap it off the main line. So it's the same thing. I don't know if they have any place that Russia can take over, but it seems like Ukraine all over again.
No, it seems like there's a variation, it seems to me, but
in what
there
way?
May be that element may, well, I mean, first of all, you had Russians in Ukraine, they had this Crimea situation.
Belarus
there are some Russians. There was another couple reports showing these so-called Russian agitators arrested by the.
I mean, it's like Georgia. I mean, it's always the same.
It's more like Georgia than it is like Ukraine.
But also the Russians. It's always the same.
Well, again, I think it's a variation. But whatever the case, this is not going to end well.
When you say variation, what do you mean?
Well, it's not. I mean, all the elements of the Russian, the Crimea thing, that eastern part of Ukraine, the fact that Ukraine was the capital of Russia, it began in Kiev, the whole operation. This is a little different. It's a variation to me. It's not the same, and I think it's more of like Romania, where Ceausescu is going to get hung at the end of the day. They didn't do that in Ukraine. They didn't take the old guy and string him up.
No, but they've one before they threw the president in jail. They killed a whole bunch of people who were demonstrating. These are things that could still happen. And
Victoria Nuland has not been seen. So
this is the point.
That's the major difference.
This is very annoying. We need to play our jingle. Where is it? Where in the world? Where is Victoria Kagan?
I think she's working for the Peace Foundation now.
Yes, it's called something else. It's called something else. Gosh, what is it? It's not a foundation though. It's a think tank. It's something nasty. Something
the Peace Tank.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can't find the jingle.
No, I can't.
All right, so now I got one more clip I got to play. This is a good one. This is the tax billionaires bill. I think this is the best thing I've ever heard.
On Thursday, Senators Bernie Sanders, Ed Markey, and Kirsten Gillibrand introduced the Make Billionaires Pay Act, a 60% tax on over $700 billion in windfall profits made this year by the top 0.001% of Americans. Senator Sanders wrote, quote, "We can continue to allow the very rich to get much richer while everyone else gets poorer and poorer, or we can tax the winnings a handful of billionaires made during the pandemic to improve the health and well-being of tens of millions of Americans," Sanders said.
I have seen a couple of tweets about it, but
$47 billion. The bill for Jeff Bezos, your girl's favorite guy, $47 billion tax bill.
Yeah, seems fair.
It's hilarious.
And how's that moving along? This idea? Who proposed this? Actually.
Sanders and Gillibrand and some other doofus.
So how long before Joe Biden starts saying it?
He's got to say it soon.
Aren't they controlling his agenda? Isn't that the accusation?
Well, he's going to have to say it because they're going to start grilling him on it. This actually may be, I didn't think about it, a ploy by Sanders to get Biden to make a commitment about taxing these. It's only about 5 or 6 guys who are talking about the top 10 in the Forbes list.
Right.
They're all worth like 50, 100 billion. I mean, the numbers are ludicrous. It just nick them 60% of their wealth.
That is kind of crazy. I see on Blue Twitter that there are people now worried that this whole delay, and I presume we've got to hear something about his vice presidential pick, but that it may all be a delay because, Biden is still not officially the nominee, and they feel that Bernie is starting to move in a little bit too close for comfort, which is clear he is. And that someone else may get the nomination after all, that this is not a cut and dry thing. Do you see any evidence of that?
No. I see zero evidence of that. He's got the numbers. They can't take it away from him.
Right.
They like him, and they're doing a good job of covering up his the fact that he's lost his. He's just not there. He's not all there.
MSNBC or someone was very worried about, and I know it's whenever I bring up Kanye, everyone's eyes roll, but they're taking him very seriously as Andrea Mitchell brought in Clyburn, who is the majority whip. This is the guy that got Joe
Joe the job.
Got Joe the gig. Yeah, got Joe the job. So Kanye, of course, is just crazy. Who would ever think to talk about him? To bring up Kanye. He's not serious, having an episode. He's crazy. But they're bringing in big guns to make him, to marginalize him.
I always want to ask you about Kanye West. Never thought I'd be saying that to you, Mr. Leader, but there we are. He is now on the ballot in Colorado and Oklahoma, and we are told that a Republican operative from the Trump campaign delivered his petitions in Wisconsin. Now, I know his family has said he suffers from bipolar and that this is not serious, but let's face it, what happened in 3 states in 2016 by, 80,000 votes decided an election.
So I think Andrea gives it away right there. Someone within the Biden camp or the DNC is like, okay, we got to deal with this Kanye thing because all it takes is a couple states and some idiot. Of course, it's very unrealistic at this point in the game where they're at with Kanye. But I like it. I like that they're worried. That's very interesting.
Decided a presidency. Jill Stein on the Green Party ticket. So could this be a Trump campaign effort to try to siphon off votes from Joe Biden in battleground states?
I don't think there's any question about that. I think we all saw what was going on there in Wisconsin, where he was getting help from to get on the ballot. But, African Americans, most especially, know what this campaign is all about. They've seen these kind of tactics before. We saw that here in South Carolina. I have been saying for years now that this whole Russian influence, I think their trial run was in the United States Senate race right here in South Carolina. So we've seen this before. We fell a victim to it when we didn't know where it was coming from and what was going on. We now know, and we're not going to make that mistake again. If you fool me once, that shame is on you. You fool me twice, that shame would be on me. We ain't going to be shamed in this election.
Sounds pretty serious to me.
Well, get fooled, you know the deal. So,
look, you know the deal. Two-faced.
Well, Kanye kind of said he's doing it to siphon votes away from Biden. And I can see that there are people that won't vote for a Republican.
Sure.
But they feel like they should vote. But they can't vote for Biden because Biden is like, he's lost it. And so they can't vote for Biden in good conscience because you don't want to put a guy like that in office. But you got to vote for somebody. So you get this, okay, I'm going to vote for Kanye.
Exactly.
And it could become a thing.
Yes.
He could get 1% of the votes.
I mean, he is in tough competition now for my vote to Vermin Supreme. I am seriously considering Kanye. Okay, Vermin is promising a pony, but I think Kanye is more entertaining.
Is he on the Texas ballot?
I can write him in.
Oh, yeah, you could write him in.
Yeah, that's it has to be a write-in. You're not going to get on any ballots. A couple of them. Yeah, I like it. I think they should take him very seriously, and the way they speak about him is stupid. And I think he's a lot smarter than they're giving him credit for. Of course, he only has $1 billion corporation with the shoes and the music and the church. Why would you worry about him?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I have no idea. One more clip?
No, I definitely have some Black Lives Matter stuff, but we can do that after the break. Why don't we take that right now?
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
And we do have a few people to thank for show 1267, beginning with Heather Rodriguez. She's in Stockton, California, and gave $100. She needs some goat karma. We'll give her that at the end. She likes Oh Brother from John. Oh Brother. Chris Collins in Springfield, Missouri, 8970. Paul Love in Richmond, Virginia, 8888. Joshua Schmidt in Norwood, Young something in Minnesota. What is that? Can you spread that out and see what it says?
Young something in Minnesota. I'm sorry, I was getting
Young America, something, I don't know. Okay, well, it's Young something in Minnesota. Minnesota Nuts. Travis Nash, 8888. A lot of 8888s. Yes, this is the anniversary donation for Mimi and I being married since 8888.
And what did you guys do yesterday?
We had a couple people that got... married. What?
Did you guys do anything yesterday? Did you do anything special? You go out?
We did it last week. We had a early
right.
one.
The Dvoraks. Yeah, we celebrate the anniversary between New Year's and Christmas, which both fall before Easter, yet after the solstice.
Yeah, we move it around. So, yes, we stopped doing Christmas. Christmas is now done on New Year's.
Yeah.
So these people all donated $88.88 to wish us a happy anniversary, and I want to thank each and every one of them, and I'm going to name them, name and location, and here they are. There's the group. This contributed to our good showing today. Paul Love in Richmond, Virginia, and Joshua Schmidt in Norwood, Young America, Minnesota. Travis Nash, Sir Matthew Januszewski in Chicago. Thank you. He contributes forever. He should call us or get a hold of us and get his dukedom or whatever.
You should send an email, man. There's a couple of you doing that. Yeah.
David Wynn in Rockville Center, New York. Gerald Preston in Bennington, Nebraska. James Johnson in Seattle, Washington. Christopher Kessler in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Sir Craig Porter, the Ronin, N7FSN. Is that a ham sign? I've never heard of an N anything.
What, an
73, he says?
An N? Yeah, of course you got N numbers. Well, if you would crack on the ham radio from time to time, you might hear an N call. Yes, there are N calls.
Frequency mode.
There you go.
Sir Upper Decker in Carlsbad, California. Alex Loesch in parts unknown. Robert Newby in Henderson, Tennessee. Alexander Miklos. Harvey Smith in Cambridge, Massachusetts. David Sutcliffe. Thomas Nording in Westminster, Colorado. Jim Barbazuski in Palos Heights, Illinois. Mark Hampton in Houston, Texas. Gregory Van Mullum in Bakersfield, California. Dustin Donham in Toe, Texas.
And he has a call out, karma for all the human resources. We'll do that. Call out to my smoking hot wife, Georgina, as a douchebag.
Douchebag. Wow.
And then he says, just kidding, but no. That's not how it works.
Can't be
Live
kidding.
with it. Live with it.
Yeah. Good luck tonight. That's our group of well-wishers. I want to thank each and every one of them.
Very nice. That's nice to celebrate.
Hello.
How many years you guys been married now?
From 88. Do the math. Kyle Hendrickson's next on the list is 7379 in Carpentersville, Illinois. A lot of Illinoisians today. Christopher Baylor in Grafton, Wisconsin, 6789. And he also says happy anniversary, so we appreciate that. Colin McCormick in Raheny, Ireland. Just take my cash. No jingles, no karma. Well, Troy Watson, Western Shore, Nova Scotia. And he needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Actually, I think we missed Kyle Hendrickson, who also needed a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Yes, actually sent a check in and wrote de-douching on the check. That was my mistake for not calling it when it happened. Which is not a bad, in the note of the check. Troy Watson, Western Shore, we said that. Matthew Golian in Rockford, Illinois. I don't know if we said that or not. Sir Peeps, and he's 5569. Sir Peep Slayer is 5555. Paula Peters in Miami Beach, 5555. Kurt from Illinois, another Illinoisian, 5555. Sir Mile High Mark in Arvada, Colorado. Doug Andrews in Sykesville, Maryland. Sir Dumas, Knight of the Black Swamp. David West in Hutto, Texas. Is it Hutto or Hutto?
We say Hutto.
Hutto. Sir Haymoose of the Piedmont Province comes in from Mooresville, North Carolina. Another hot spot of support. $50. And the following people are all $50 donors. And I'm going to name them and give their location if I have it. Edward Mazurik in Memphis. Jonathan Meyer in Xenia, Ohio. James Darter in Oklahoma City. Christopher Rivera in Austin, Texas, and Sir Joel DeRuin in Bakersfield, California. I want to thank everybody on this list for helping support and produced show 1267. And I want to thank everybody else who came in with also happy congrats and everything in between that sent lesser amounts.
Indeed. And everybody who's on our subscription plans, thank you so much for supporting the show, for doing the work of supporting the show. And among those is Andrew. Andrew says, no need to read this on the air, but I'm going to anyway, Andrew. Been a long-time contributor, starting with when you asked for it, I think it was, he says, after 2 months. Did we start asking after 2 months? Oh, no, the $2 a month. That's what it was. Was that our first?
Yeah, we started that, yeah.
Does anyone still do that?
Only maniacs.
So he was doing $2 a month, then $11.11 since 2012. He checked the PayPal records, and lo and behold, he's a knight. He passed knighthood a long time ago, and he'd like to be knighted as Sir Andrew, and he requests red hook and sashimi at the round table, and that is today. And we are super happy that you've been supporting us for all this time. That's crazy. At 11:11, and you see, you can still get your night ring, and you'll be at the table momentarily. Thank you all, everybody. Remember, you can support us by going to
Dvorak.org/NA.
Somebody needs it out there.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Moving along, the 9th of August, 2020. Here's our birthday list. Chris Collins, happy birthday to his beautiful wife, Tammy. She turns 50 today. Nathan Peters, his wife, Paula Peters, also celebrating today. Christopher Brown says happy birthday. And love and light to his love and life partner, Malika. She turns 33 tomorrow. And Christopher Baylor celebrates tomorrow as well. Matthew Golian says happy birthday to his brother, Michael Golian. 30 tomorrow. Sir Pate celebrates on the 11th. Dave Basor, happy birthday to his smoking hot wife, Faith Ann. She'll be celebrating on the 11th. She'll be 46. And Christopher Baylor says happy birthday to his son, Christian, who celebrates on August 28th, well in advance. Or I guess he will be a birthday boy on August 28th. Happy birthday, everybody, from the best podcast in the universe. Two nightings today, so let's get out them swords when you reach the... You got a sword?
Oh, there it is. I got it.
Oh, good. When you reach the level of $1,000... What? You okay?
Acting.
$1,000 get you at the round table. It can be over many, many years. It's all good. We appreciate any kind of help. Andrew, I am very proud to pronounce the Sir Andrew and David Langford. You are now Sir Side Real. Both of you gentlemen are knights of the No Agenda Round Table. We've got for you, besides the traditional hookers of blow, rent boys, and Chardonnay, we've got green jello and carrot shavings, red hook and sashimi, early times, and BF4. We've got kebab and Persian wine, onion rings and ice cream, brisket and barrel-aged copper ale, pinball and power chords, geishas and sake, vodka and vanilla, bong hits and bourbon, sparkling cider, escorts, ginger ale and gerbils, breast milk and pablum, and of course, I know you wanted the mutton and meat. Both of you here at the round table, get your chair shoved up there next to all of the knights and dames. And when you have time, go to noagendanation.com/rings. Give Eric the Shill the pertinent info, and we will get those out to you as soon as possible. Official night ring, official sealing wax for said ring, and probably the most valuable is the certificate.
No agenda meetups.
Got a meetup report from, let's see, the Kiama. That would be in Australia, I guess. Unfortunately, now who sent this in to me? Kevin Benson. Mega rain, 3 inches last night. Roads cut. So those attending from Sydney could not make it. Wandering Minstrel, apologies. New listener, K. Ruthven, apologies. Want to find like-minded people in the city of Sydney? Come on, Aussies. Make some meetings. Who did brave the elements and drove around the perilous mouth of the blowhole? Wow. Only to sit outside of the Hungry Monkey in the pouring rain, and it really did effing pour. So here are the brave souls who were in attendance. Sir Kevin of Kiama, K-I-M-A. I'm supposed to do it with the drawl. He's been a listener since about episode 450. Jay, listener since show 150, should be a K-Knight, but doesn't care for the limelight, just to support the best podcast since the last black hole passed through. Rogan convert Tony, yet to donate, but loves the show, will donate soon. As we know where he lives and the petrol is an all-time low here, he gets the hint. He will donate or glow. These Aussies, man, they don't mess around. Took John on a stick to the Moni. Oh, yes, this is the waterfall. That was a nice picture. Amygdalas were dissected, dragged onto the table, pounded, blended with some balsamic vinegar, a little lemon, and reinserted. Took the images of John and Adam to the blowhole. This is an actual place, the blowhole, which due to extreme weather was pumping. Unfortunately, due to a gust, Adam got sucked into the blowhole and ended up as a churning urn of aquatic foam. Well, I feel very special after that. Thank you so much.
Jeez,
I'm glad you guys had a good meetup. And that is one of the first, probably the first one there, I think. So hopefully more people can enjoy them. Here's what's coming up on the list actually today. In West Seattle, Burien School from Home Social Planning Meetup at 4:00, so you can make that today. Also in Richmond, Virginia area, that'll be 11:00, Kitchen 64. On Thursday, No Mask Outside, Okietown Meetup at 6:30 in the garage in Moore, Oklahoma. On next Thursday, Bridgeport, Pennsylvania. Oh, it's the No Agenda / MoFax meetup, apparently, at Puddlers, the Conchi Brewing Company. Also on Thursday, August 13th, Davenport, Iowa, 4:00, the Bi-State Amygdala Commission meetup at Armored Gardens. On Friday, the Greater Seattle Kirkland Marina meetup there at 4:00 with the Wild Rover Irish Pub. And also on Friday, the virtual meetup over Jitsi. And that will be Comic Strip Blogger is hosting those now. So if you want to get the invite, go to noagendameetups.com. I'm sure it'll also be distributed on noagendameetups.com. It's a great place to hang out with people you've never encountered. They'll be completely different, yet you'll have something in common. Doesn't matter what you say, you'll all listen and you can be clumsy, and it's a good time to be had by all. noagendameetups.com. It's like a party.
Sometimes you wanna go hang out with all the nights and days. You wanna be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You wanna be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
Been tracking some of the white guilt followers, the white fragility followers, people doing the work, and I was sent a link to a video from a Minneapolis mom, and this was from Juneteenth, so it's been out for a bit, but of course the riots were taking place, so she was subsequently prepared to do some of the work. I just wanted to share what she posted because I thought it was quite revealing, and I feel sad.
I'm making this video because I wanted to give you a little window into my thinking and invite you to brainstorm and dream alongside me. I'm going to share an idea with you about how to raise our white children to be better allies, better abolitionists, and better people than we are.
I'm already feeling sorry for these children. The horrible pain that's going to be bestowed upon their psyches.
With the caveat that I am by no means an expert or an authority here. Please do not rely on a white woman to tell you how to be anti-racist or do the work that's needed to combat a culture of white supremacy. I am just one privileged, ignorant, flawed individual with one voice, and what I'm going to share with you.
How bad is this? The self-esteem level is at an all-time low.
Well, for her,
yeah. It makes me sad to hear that. All these things. Okay, you may be somewhat ignorant about things, but geez.
Right now is just a snapshot of my thinking at this given moment in this time. So this video is just food for thought. If it inspires you, great. Tell me why. Okay, here's the notion that I'm exploring right now.
Tell her why.
Part 1. A major reason why racism is so pervasive in America and why our institutions and society are so resistant to acknowledging and then trying to dismantle this system.
Acknowledging and trying to enter the system?
Is that white folks, like myself, have a really low capacity for sitting in discomfort and having difficult conversations.
I get mad when I hear this. I'm not monolithic with you, lady. Maybe white folk in Minneapolis. Ugh.
Is that where she is?
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
And that part 2...
She's, at some level besides... At some level besides showing what appears to be low self-esteem, in fact, I'm not sure that's true. She's incredibly condescending. She thinks she knows everything. She's patronizing. She's an absolute a-hole.
Yeah. I think you nailed it, but I'm pretty sure that this is par for the course. I don't think this is an exception. It's really
This is a patronizing, condescending a-hole who thinks she knows better, and she's going to be lecturing you despite the fact she has no credentials to do so.
Well, to be fair, she says that she's white. Doesn't that give her the credentials to do that?
Well, according to her own thinking, no.
Okay.
But just the opposite is true.
Let's continue.
If she's white, she should let's take it to the extreme. You've heard this. You're white, you sit down and shut up. That's what she should do.
Don't worry.
So I'm in agreement with that.
Don't worry, it's coming.
A major reason why racism is so pervasive in America and why our institutions and society are so resistant to acknowledging and then trying to dismantle this system is that white folks, like myself, have a really low capacity for sitting in discomfort and having difficult conversations. And that part 2, if we parent our young children in ways that build their tolerance for holding discomfort, we can help raise a generation of more open-minded, compassionate, self-reflective people who are going to actually do the hard work.
So the way I took this is it's a cop-out. It's by saying, I've decided to do something against systemic racism and everything else that's inequalities, and I'm going to raise my children. And so she gets away with saying, no, but I'm doing all these great things with my kids. Yeah, my kids. We believe the children are the future, and we're going to change them to hate themselves like their mother. Of course, you know where this comes from.
This is just one move, right? I know that it's not the answer. It does not absolve us of our responsibility of doing our own self-reflection and awakening. It's just one piece of the puzzle, but I do think it's really fundamental to the fight for justice and equity. Some friends and I have just started.
What even is equity? Equity is not, it's not equality. Equity. You have equity. It means you have a stake in something, no?
Yeah, piece of the pie.
So when did equity become synonymous with you can't just say equity. Can you?
Well, she did. So I guess.
I know, but isn't that changing the meaning of the word equity?
Well, changing the meaning of the word equity. How does it change the meaning of the word equity?
Well, I believe. Well, okay. So then, what is she saying? A share. So equity is a share, but she says it's for equity.
Yeah, people need a share. We don't. In other words, we got to get Jeff Bezos to give us a $47 billion.
Okay, but that would be more equity, not just everyone has equity. Just your piece sucks. It doesn't mean that no one, whatever.
Some friends and I have just started reading and discussing Robin DiAngelo's book,
The Root of All Evil.
Why it's so hard for white people to talk about racism. And in it, she shared her observation that when confronted with the realities of whiteness, white supremacy, systemic racism, and especially any act of racism that we have perpetrated, we white people very rarely open up and listen.
Oh, my God. Dude.
We very rarely thank the other person for bringing these ideas to our attention. We very rarely say, I want to learn more. I want to do better. I want to understand my biases and my privilege and my prejudices. Instead, as she points out, it is so common for us to withdraw, defend ourselves, go silent, try and focus on our good intentions, explain, and just insist that we were misunderstood.
There it is. There's your over-socialized person. It's very dangerous.
Do these people ever get a job or work for a living or get out of this, whatever they're in, this rut of self-analysis?
Well, actually, she started this noodle mom started her video. I didn't clip that. My husband and I just got done chalking words of love and freedom on the pavement. Okay, that works. But there's a lot of this weirdness going on. You know, Oprah on YouTube is now doing these kind of white guilt sessions. I have a very short clip just to give you a taste.
Oprah traveled, and as white people, we even the poorest of the poor, I feel, still has a leg up. And it's
and the leg up is what I was saying. You still have your whiteness. That's what the term white privilege is. It means that whiteness still gives you an advantage no matter what.
Said the woman who has $100 billion.
Wow. One of the most privileged people.
Unbelievable.
And just people, black, white, Chinese, doesn't matter.
Who cares?
She's a privileged person with incredible clout, and she's bitching?
Yep.
Oh, please.
I know. It's like, wow, come on, Oprah. Give me a break. Don't leave much room for love anymore.
This is not good.
All right, if you got something...
I don't know. You driven us into a dead end.
No, not at all.
Driven the show into a black hole.
No, I was hoping that you would have one fun clip for us. You've been schlepping around a couple of clips from show to show. Certainly there's something in there.
I got a couple of things we can play.
Something nice. You get one. No, you get one. We got to end the show.
What is this? What kind of a dictator have you become? Well, all right, I have one. I do have one, as a matter of fact.
It's the dictator who, when you say, how long was the show? And I give you the time, you say, it's too long.
Well,
that's the dictator.
I'm not gonna argue that.
That's the dictator.
Okay, I got the one.
All right.
So every once in a while, somebody gets kind of, there's guys in England that had all the 2 million Americans dead. Well, the other half of that group was out of the University of Washington, so they're trying to make a comeback with their predictive models.
I've noticed this. So yeah, it was the Imperial College in the UK.
Yeah, that was the one that they've been discredited. Yeah. But the University of Washington somehow got out unscathed, and so they're trying to make a name for themselves. And here's the latest bad prediction for us all.
Okay, I'm just not sure.
It's under another.
Yes. Okay.
The U.S. coronavirus death toll is on pace to reach nearly 300,000 by December, according to an influential model by the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington. But the Institute projects 66,000 lives could be saved if 95% of people in the United States wear face coverings.
Oh, please. Oh, my. How many percent of people could be saved or created?
Well, 66,000 people can be saved or created by wearing a face mask. So Why can't everybody be saved wearing a face mask? This thing's supposed to be that effective.
Yeah.
Well, they just if everybody wears a face mask, there should be no more deaths.
Well, and that would be my question. Why are they letting people out of jail? Why don't they just give them face masks?
Well, that's actually a good question.
Not quite a great one.
No, it's not a great question, but it's a good question, yeah.
These are irritations that we live with day to day. This concludes our broadcast for the 9th of August, 2020. As you know, we will be diligently looking for anything that is bullcrap, because if it's there, we'll find it for sure. End of show mixes we've got coming up. We've got Fletcher with Carolyn Blaney. Make sure I mention that she participated in this one. Jesse Coy Nelson, Tom Starkweather, and on NoAgendaStream.com right after the show if you're listening live, Grumpy Old Ben's. And I am coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas. Capital of the Drone Star State, FEMA region number 6, if you're looking for it on the governmental maps. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, you don't need to use a government map. You can use a Google map or a Bing map. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Thursday. Please join us and meet us then right here on No Agenda. Until then, adios, mofos, and such.
Well, I'm taking a Greyhound on the Hudson River line.
Are you going to save New York City, or are you telling New York City to drop dead? Which one is it?
I'm in a New York state of decline.
Rats have been emboldened in a way few have ever seen, and that's definitely happening in New York City.
Rats are taking to the streets like never before. Experts say because so many restaurants are closed, there's less garbage being collected, and the rat population is starving.
According to the NYPD, gun violence this year is up 150% over the same period last year. We've had 11 people killed, 48 total victims just within the 5 boroughs and just within 24 hours.
Police are also looking into the homeless sleeping in subway cars and in stations. It is a growing problem with safety at risk.
Data on housing rentals out of New York City coming in a lot worse than expected, with the city emptying out fast.
When you're coming back, we'll go to dinner. I'll buy you a drink. Come over, I'll cook.
New York state of decline.
What does this have to do with what we're talking about?
Some people actually suggesting and sharing articles that say you should smoke weed. Yes, that's what I said, weed.
Then funding for child care and mental health care. And you need that, especially when you have so much of a lockdown. You need that mental health care.
You're going to have to smoke a lot of weed to make this stock chart look good.
And I was in Ohio, I was in Texas, I was in Florida over the last 4 or 5 days. And namely the corona. You can call it so many different names. What a horrible thing. What does this have to do with what we're talking about? Namely the corona. You can call it so many different names. What a horrible thing.
Now, these caveats don't mean you should ignore the study. It just means we need more research before we consider the findings as proven or fact.
What does this have to do with what we're talking about?
If I ever get stuck on a desert island, the drug I want is hydroxychloroquine.
You know, before it became politicized, I was excited about it.
This is one of the safest drugs I've ever seen, ever.
Right now. You know, I knew about this since maybe February, I think, or maybe even January, but certainly long before President Trump ever said anything about it.
So this drug is not only safe, it's actually good for you in many instances.
I knew that hydroxychloroquine looked like a very good treatment for this.
Right now. But it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
Find something else to do.
But it's not.
Take a walk, but quit.
Right now.
But it's time for you to quit your job.
I thought there was just going to be a shortage of the medicine. You know, everyone was going to go out and buy it immediately.
The point is, this drug is not only is it safe, it's good for you in many instances.
Right now.
Again.
Right now.
When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet.
You're not different than a murderer. You're not different than Hitler.
I hate to do this, but I mean,
I refuse to let people die.
Everybody just jumped all over the hydroxychloroquine. I happen to feel good about it.
But it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
Who are you going to sacrifice? Your mother?
But so it's amazing. I'm going to stop. I don't need to say any more about it.
The best podcast in the universe.
Mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
It's real. It's not a joke. It's real.